Hello. Yeah, would it? Maybe that's a sign I am absolutely shattered. But I just thought this was worth jumping on and talking about. Let's see if we get anyone join us. And, if not, okay, looks like it's going to be a damp squib. For this one, I need people in the chat. I can't really just do this one because I want it to be a discussion. I'll start off by telling the one person, hello, thanks for joining me, why I'm so tired. We'll see. Oh, we got 9. Okay, maybe it's yeah, so I'm going to do my best. I'm shattered. I'm energetically fucking wiped out. Well, I'm 22 now, but thank you, Mark, for joining me so early. I think this energetically is exhausting. I think this is massive. I think what's on the screen now is the start of a whole new world. This is going to be used to bring in one world. But also today I got taken out on my scooter, fully taken out, and you can see some marks from behind. It was unbelievable. I was just driving along, and then the next minute I was and this guy had just come through him out. And that's broken my phone. So yeah, it's been quite an exhausting day. But I think this, right, let's get into this. Have you seen this? Not just this, it's also the Chinese, Chinese guy being visited Lords, Lakers, Milwaukee, or football, and most people seem to be going with Lords. Okay, right. So Project Bluebeam has been kind of like the ultimate conspiracy theory for as long as I've been aware of conspiracy theories. It's transhumanism. With transhumanism, like we're seeing Elon Musk and his magic and you know, the jib jab was DNA changing, which they admit. So, we've already kind of seen that, so that's no longer a conspiracy theory. And for me, Project Volume, what's wrong with the volume? Can you hear me? For me, Project Bluebeam. Yeah, so for me, Project Bluebeam started. Well, potentially. So growing up, I was always, we used to remember when you were a kid, if you're my sort of age, and people used to ask you the question, do you believe in aliens? There used to be like this big discussion. And I was always of the opinion, well, this is when I believed in space and what we told us about space. There's so much out there, it's impossible that there isn't a lot. And I'm starting to wonder if all of that was the start of this psyop, the start of Project Bluebeam, Area 51, all of it. And then recently they've started disclosing, haven't they? And this also all fits into the QAnon, what I believe. I really hope it's not. I hope it's true. But I think if we're still hanging on to in a white hat, when it hasn't drained response at all, the only thing I can think is say men are men and women are women, and that's nothing. That was all just like they swing the pendulum this far this way into insanity, and then they bring your man in that you voted for. And he goes, men are men and women are women. And the pendulum swings here, and everyone's like, yeah, man, yeah, yeah. But obviously, that's nothing. Like, what we need is to think about the vaccines, the one world AI government, the exposing of a certain country that's trying to save the world rather than working for them directly and making your whole cabinet members of their clan. So for me, any hope that Trump is any sort of saviour is nonsense now. And I was well into this. 6 years ago, I was well into it. And, I really thought that he was, this White House going to save the world, along with the military behind him, and that's the story. But obviously, it's just like Christianity. What they're doing, like the motto of Q is trust the plan, which basically is do nothing and wait for it to solve it. But, by the time you realise that we've got a one world government, we're not saved, there's nothing So this is kind of reinforcing that, isn't it? It's like the Nordics have come to keep Trump. So what? So right. So I used to think, and I've actually this video an hour ago on my channel where I said that Project Bluebeam was always presented as it was going to be a fake UFO attack, which kind of fits into the sky's frame because that could be the they need a projector to project it onto. They need a screen, so maybe that's why there's all these heavy metals in the sky all the time. So the alien invasion would come, and then these guys would come and tell us what to do, and basically what they'd tell us to do with the one more and and that would be it. But I'm starting to think that they don't actually need to do the alien invasion. Like this is enough. You know, if they present to us that higher beings have come, and they've been brainwashing the new age team for 50 years with Palladians and the Galactic Galaxy and all of this. Like, it's all just fits in. So I think this is the start of them normalizing so-called other beings, which I don't. You know, so here's the other theory, and I can't really speak into this because I don't know too much about it. The other theory is it's real. So I'll read something off X in a minute. I mean, I don't think it is, but find it. Basically, you know, I'm going to bastardize it. It was the bad guys who seem to be in control of what's called greys, and they're basically missing the fundamental piece of DNA. All right, yeah, here we go. Right, so this is the other theory. Like, I think this is the psyop. I think this is the psyop. This is the other side, potential truth. I think this is the psyop. Nordic aliens or ascended light beings who travel back in time to hybridize with humans so that we could harness, drill, don't know what that is, thus creating white people and securing their own future existence in the bootstrap paradox. Oh, right, yeah, so this fits in very nicely to the white person. You know, rather than you in Africa, actually you've descended from incredible angelic light beings. People are going to fucking laugh. Certain people in Germany that were occultists first made contact with them via astral projection. The Nordics revealed they were locked in an existential war against an AI hive mind. You know, I laugh, but you know, the world is so fucking this dimension. Like, world isn't the right word. This dimension, this simulation, whatever the fuck we're in, is so mental. Like this is nothing compared to what's really going on. I imagine. But it is still fucking mental. When we were brought up to, you know, believe in a big bang and a spinning ball and that you die and that's it, and you know, you work in the office and then you get 10 years retirement. AI hive mind of Gestalt human cultists attempting to breach the wall and devour all material realms into a nightmarish collective of mind rape assimilation. In exchange for a pact to reunite the scattered Nordic ancestor descended hybrid bloodlines. Now, bloodlines are massive. I don't know anything about them, but I just know they're massive. All this, you know, all the donating blood for a start, like what do they really do with that? All of these ancestry apps that are now available. I'll just everything's okay. You'll still hear me, yeah. You know, so the bloodline thing is amazing. And when I spoke to Jeroen, and I'm going to absolutely bastardize this, but Jeroen really seems to have quite a good understanding of greys, what they are, and what they're trying to do. And it was all about bloodlines and DNA. That's about as much as I can say because it was a lot. So that we can join them in an interdimensional holy war to save all remaining realities, including our own. You know what? Like, this sounds bonkers, and it's very enticing for the ego, hence why I'm going to lean on the psyop side. But also, who is in charge? They're not human. And, you know, this actually fits in perfectly. Like, this is actually the Greys are their corrupted mirror image. They are other humans from the future who rejected, and bear in mind, future doesn't really exist, all different timelines, potentially, who rejected ascension into the light and instead merged with the machine demons. They're now traveling back. The machine demons, is that transhumans? They're now traveling back in time as soulless biological androids, serving the archonic demon forces in the creation of data centers to continue the endless cycle. I mean, these data centers are mental. Like, no humanity is choosing to do that. I mean, the main theory at the moment is that they're going to be used to surveillance, basically, and, Agenda 2030 is. I don't see why they need so many and so big. Like the kind of conspiracy theory that just popped into my mind is that actually massive sections of these are prisons. They're going to be, but I don't know. I'm just guessing. But then this, like, okay, so this would actually make more sense. But it's actually like beyond this reality. Like, 'cause there's no explaining those data centers from this reality unless you can in the comments. Please do if you can. Elon Musk, like absolute demons. Let's see what it says about him. Let's see if it says if it's on those lines. If not, this is bollocks. Elon Musk started. Have you seen that they're in SpaceX on the stock exchange? It's starting at more than Walmart. It's going to be the biggest company value ever, and it's all based on something. It's fucking hilarious. Elon Musk started SpaceX to break through the firmament after he learned that the Jays and their Masonic allies, the original architects of the demon Gestalt that would eventually become the Greys, subverted the Western nations to defeat the Germans in an effort to destroy esoteric knowledge they acquired to astral project as well as interdimensional UFO technology given to them by the Nordics so humanity could not cross. Elon Musk started to break through. Yeah, so this is making out that Elon Musk is a good guy. He's absolutely not. Like, that's, yeah, I think this is just not a mess. All right, let's see what you guys make of it. So I've seen, we are now putting community notes under this on X, saying that it's clear on OpenAI. But I've also seen people put it into AI checkers, and it's coming back at 3 to 8% possibility of being AI. What do you need to do, guys? What do you need to do? It's a bit. All right, let's do that. Background music. There's no music. The music. What are you on about? Really? You can hear that? I can barely hear that. Yeah, there's nothing I can do, man. It's Vietnam. Sounds like we're having some issues. Well, I've lost my mic to be fair. A little bit watery around here today. Oh, the audio's cut. Oh, really? What are you on about? Music channel? Oh, was it when I was on X? Oh, it must have been coming from X. So when I read all that out, you didn't hear any of it, man. Oh, for fuck's sake, man. Life's so hard. Life is so fucking hard. So you didn't hear me read any of that? I just don't think I've got the energy, guys. I don't think I've got the energy to. I mean, there's no way I can read that shit again. Oh, fuck me. Wow. Right. So I think I've lost my flow and that has just finished me off. Okay, let's just go through X and see what's saying. So basically, I just read this to you, but I'm not doing it again. So basically, that was from a QAnon perspective, saying that, but basically, it all falls apart because it talks about Elon Musk being some sort of savior. This is written by people who still believe that people like Trump and Musk are autonomous, which just gobsmacks me. But oh, I know, I need to switch. I've got the sound off. I don't understand. I don't understand. Now, there was a Fox News clip that I haven't actually. Well, what's this guy saying? This guy's not very conscious. Very, very good at what he does. I hear it. This is just a damn squid. I don't actually know how to do lives. Oh, fuck this. I can't do this. Fuck this. I think we're gonna fuck this off, guys. It's been a disaster. I've just remembered the whole issue with X and why I stopped using X because I can't hear it at the same time you can hear it unless I wear headphones, and I'm not prepared to get brain tumors to do a fucking live. So let's just see if there's a bit of a chit chat. Well, what do you? So what? So you're just gonna say it's AI and totally nonsense, are you? Yeah, but you also went and got the job, and it looks like you're a fucking J. So goodness me. Oh, this guy's disgusting. Let's get rid of him. He's like a full-on troll, actually. I recognize his name, like really bad, really, really bad. Oh, fucking hell. Fucking hell. Yeah, so this is fucked, because what I wanted to do is I wanted to go through X review and see like all the different things that people were saying, but I've just remembered that I can't actually do that. And if you've just joined us, I got wiped out on my bike earlier today. Like properly, like somebody just wiped me out. So yeah, I don't know if I can do this. I don't think I can do this. That sound thing is so annoying. It's such a shame. Let's just go back. Oh, and then this is the other thing, like the World Cup stuff, man. Like, if you, I haven't properly looked into it yet, but you know, these opening ceremonies are always gobsmacking. The best one, of course, was the Olympics in 2012. That was just, you know, told, but foreshadowed COVID completely. Like, to watch that back now is just gobsmacking. But this was just unbelievable. Like, we've got the nuclear symbol. I mean, just so much, man. There's a French guy that's broken it down really well. Unfortunately, it's in French. Okay, so I'm pretty sure this is fake for now, but get ready. This is coming. This is coming. Trump jokes about. Apparently, I haven't watched the Fox News clip because I was going to watch it with you, but I just read a bit about it, and apparently they're trying to make out that they're delegates from Norway. I mean, I don't know. I need to watch the clip, but yeah. Oh, I don't think I can do this, guys. Why are you? But it's not about being a coward. It's about wanting to create a space for conscious people. So we've been, you know, it's really tough when you're aware. And I like to think that my followers are aware, and they are. So it's really tough. Like the whole world is a lie, and then I try and create this one little space for us where we can actually like discuss possibilities of truth without all the conditioning, without all the ego, without all the virtue signaling. Oh, sorry, I'm responding to this. And then of course you retards want to come in and just destroy that, because that's what you do. You just shit on anything that's got any sort of authenticity in it or any sort of depth, because you just can't fucking handle that. So I'm not here, like my days of debating with libtards are done. Like, I'm not here for that. I'm here to create a space and hopefully offer some insights. I'm not on this live, but clearly, but hopefully offer some insights to help people get past the indoctrination and the conditioning. But people like you just want to discuss the indoctrination as if it's real. So I'm not interested in that. That's not what this space is for. Does that make sense? Does that feel fair? Does that feel like something you can handle, or are you just going to have to project and get all hateful about it? I mean, obviously we know the answer because that's all you can do. But yeah, it's just not for you. And this guy is who it's for, and he's telling me to ban you. So guess what's going to happen? Yep. Yo, no, let's go back to that guy, and then let's go do ban and delete comments, because he's a fucking retard, and he's not come here with any good intentions at all. He just wants to create drama, because that's the only way he can get through life, because he's in so much hatred and pain inside. He has to create all this drama in the external that keeps him there. Whoa, dopamine hits for my ego. Whoa, I argue. Whoa, I'm a hater. Whoa, I go and find things I hate and then fucking spend hours watching it. What a fucking idiot, man. Yeah. I mean, they're gonna lap it up. They're gonna absolutely lap it up. But then it is proper out there, isn't it? Like, so my parents just believe whatever they see on the news. But I'm trying to think, like, if they see Yeah, so it's not aliens, is it? It's like these things that look very human. So that makes it easier. These Nordic, and also they hate Trump. Like they're proper like Orange Man bad. So I can't, you know, there's a part of me that wonders if they see Nordics speaking to Orange Man bad, like it's just going to be too much for them. Like they're not going to be able to take it in. But then if a mass, really what they are is just followers of the herd. So I suppose it's just about a critical mass, isn't it? I guess if you get 50% of people believing in it, then all the people that it's too much for will just follow along because they're so scared of being wrong. You know, because that's actually all these people do is they just want to be liked and they don't want to be wrong. And by wrong, it's like in the eyes of society, it's not actually based on like morals or integrity or what really is right and wrong. You are not aware, you are gullible, you are all ego, and it's crazy that you can't see that. Oh dear. Pleasure, mate. Pleasure. I should get rid of that one as well. But I don't want it, you know, I want them to see how little they affect me. Like, you know, it's just, you honestly think that I'm going to take on board anything that somebody who fell for the basic intelligence test of 2021 says? Like, it's just mental. And you don't even understand what ego is. Like somebody who analyzes his ego and speaks about his ego and exposes his ego online is not of the ego. They're aware of the ego. I still have an ego, of course, but I'm aware of it and I'm trying to expose it in the most exposing way ever so I can rapidly do the self-work. And then you come on and you're just like, oh, ego. Like, I mean, it's just pathetic, man. It's pathetic. I mean, you haven't even taken a fucking breath. Is this that fucking retard again? How's he come back? Is that the same one? I think that is the same one. God, he looks like one of them fucking bad ones. He's gone. I fucking hope not. No, I don't think so. Obviously, I'm not retarded enough to give them my blood, so I've never done one of those ancestry tests with your blood, because my understanding of that is what they're doing is it all links to this. It all links to this. That they're searching for particular bloodlines, and it's about these bloodlines that are being lost. And I don't know if it's the Greys that need them or the Nordics that need them. And of course, everything I'm saying now could be absolute nonsense. This could be the psyop. You know, the New Age scene and this psyop are very interlinked, because the one world government will have a one world religion, and it will be the New Age scene or a derivative of that. So when I hear these, and they all come from channeling, which I don't trust at all, but also, you know, I don't dismiss. But you know, so that's where this information has come from. I think the Greys are missing some sort of DNA, or the people that are controlling the Greys, and this is why they need to harvest us. It's a bit much for me. I don't quite. When I heard it, you know, I understood it, but then to relay it is a few months ago, and I've forgotten it. But to answer your question, I did do a photo version of one, and it says I'm Slavic. It says I'm Polish. It says I'm 80% Polish and 20% Anglo. So I was quite proud of that, because I think the Slavics are definitely the best whites. They're the only ones that haven't just allowed their country to be invaded by bioweapons because they're scared of being called a word that doesn't even exist. Yeah, it's probably the best answer. It don't work anymore though, mate. I'm done with it. I hate it. I must be in the 10% then. I know a lot of us in Scotland refuse. Yeah, it's mad, isn't it? Because you're either everyone you know refused it or everyone you know took it, depending on whether you're retarded or not. So like, I didn't know, apart from my parents, I didn't know anyone that took it. But then, you know, my parents don't know anyone apart from me that hasn't taken it. So. Spen, did you see yesterday's live? I hope you did. I'm sorry, I got the wrong end of the stick. I totally overreacted, and I took out all my anger on you. Some of them will be like, until an episode of Coronation Street calls a non-believer in it stupid. That's my parents. Actually, my mum stopped watching Coronation. Like, Coronation Street was just a religion in my house growing up. Like, it was just such a massive part of our family life, and I loved it. I took that on until Oh my God, I'm so embarrassed to say it was until I was 30. I went to Peru when I was 30. I went to Machu Picchu for my 30th birthday. I was walking to Machu Picchu on my 30th, and I, I was completely unconscious, and I didn't notice anything happen there. I just was completely unaware. But when I came back, I couldn't watch Coronation Street. I just couldn't watch it. I just couldn't watch it, along with a load of other stuff. And yeah, basically something happened in Machu Picchu, man. The energy like shifted something in me, and I just couldn't watch. It got to I suddenly, rather than being insane by it, I was watching it knowing exactly what we were going to say next, and knowing the crap joke that was going to come next, and just seeing how tacky and shit it is. Anyway, my parents carried on. I mean, I think about 5 years ago, my mum stopped, but my dad still is a diehard. I think he'll be a diehard till the day he dies. So bad, in it? So bad, man. Well, I think it's the most. I mean, maybe we have different understandings of exposing. Like, I'm not seeing it as a negative thing. I see. So I see vulnerability as the most powerful, fucking hell, characteristic that's needed for self work and to become wise. What did you say? So to do that, we need to bring the shadow from the dark to the light, and therefore we need to expose it. But it sounds like you're seeing that as a negative connotation, but you could say bring it into the light, and suddenly that's not negative, is it? But that's what I'm doing, and then so a lot of people will do that one-on-one with a therapist, and would never dream of mentioning it to anyone else. Or they might be a bit braver and go to like a group, or a men's work. Or, it could be anything, family constellations, ayahuasca, anything. But then once you've done all that, then there's no more powerful way to just do it on the internet in front of a load of fucking retards and psychopaths and a few wise people and get the reflections. But also it brings you into integrity much faster because you're you're putting it out there to the world. Like, you can't really go back on what you say. Or if you do go back on what you say, you'll notice it very fast yourself because you'll be more self-aware and more conscious of the shit you're gonna get. And if you don't spot it, other people will. Oh, it's got all hatery again today. Wow, this guy's a proper pleb, man. He's so this is when you know they're a real hater, is when they've got like multiple accounts. Like, how sad do you have to be, man? It's just mental, isn't it? It's mental. Right, let's get rid of this one as well. He's a fucking idiot. I just can't be arsed, man. Yeah, good. We've not had any more disasters since. I mean, it is cheap and a bit shit. There's always like a few big lumps in the bottom, but it just will never get. But I'm glad I bought it. I'm glad I bought it. Yeah, I mean, it kills everything, doesn't it? It kills everything. I mean, they are shit, and they are like for retards anyway. Before the woke, but yeah, absolutely, man. I mean, is there anything on TV that it hasn't killed? Have they just cancelled Doctor Who? I think. Like, I mean, that was a huge success. That was cult. That was cult viewing. I never liked it. That was cult viewing, wasn't it? I've never noticed him before. Lope is a literal stalker. He spends his whole day trying to troll Tom. He was behind the psyop and TV. Oh, is it him? How do you know it's him? I mean, it probably is. Like, he's absolutely obsessed. It's crazy. And like, yeah, he had like 50 profiles, man. It's insane, man. But yeah, I mean, this is it, isn't it? Like, just it's unfathomable. Like, I can understand it from a psychological point of view. Like, this person is so fucking broken and has such major rejection issues, and I rejected him. He wanted to be my friend. He was sending me money. I rejected him, and oh my god, like the psychopathic reaction to that was just like off the charts. Like, it was the first time I saw proper psychopathy, and yeah, like the guy, it's just amazing. But yeah, oh yeah, so I can understand that he is in so much pain that he just has to focus on causing pain in others, and that's the only way he can get a dopamine hit, basically. So I understand it psychologically, but it is impossible to relate to. Like when you're somebody who's always trying to grow, and fundamentally, like, well, there's also actions that aren't obvious, but fundamentally, you're ultimately trying to help and be of good. But just to yourself, let's say, just searching for content that inspires you, even, just really basic stuff like that. Like it's impossible to even comprehend um, why they do what they do and why they are like they are. But it's just deep, deep trauma. It's deep, deep pain, man. And the only way they can cope is by inflicting that on others. It's incredible. It really is incredible. But yeah, there's I mean, I wonder if they're all him. They're probably all him. And what he's also doing at the moment is he's signing me up to loads of emails. It's so funny. So he's putting my email on all. So he must be spending hours. Like, I mean, like, just fucking loads. And it takes me like seconds to just spam block, spam block, spam block, and I do it all in a block. It probably takes me 15 seconds a day. And that was when it was intense. Like, he's doing about 10 a day now. But at one point, he was doing like 50 or 100 a day. It's just, it's bonkers. It's absolutely bonkers, man. Yeah, I mean, it's very obvious when you understand psychology what's going on, but it's also hard to comprehend and impossible to relate to in any way. Like, I have experienced being angry and wanting to seek revenge, as in like that feeling, but whether I've ever actually done it, like like it's so much easier. Like straight away, I'm much more inclined to want to detach from the anger, detach from the blame, see them as like psychologically understand why the person has done whatever they've done, but why would I then want to engage in it and make it more? And like I'll just be like, oh, okay, so that person's not in my life anymore. Like I'll move on. I mean, that's obviously the way you deal with it, isn't it? But like, but these people are just like they just look for it, like they're just obsessed because it's the only way they can get a dopamine hit. They can't get a dopamine hit, or like really sadistic sexual stuff, maybe. But they can't, like they're fucked. They can't get dopamine hits like normal, like in normal, pleasant ways. Yeah, there's loads in it, man. I'm not gonna claim to know, but that resonates with me. But I think it's more than that, even like more than I can even comprehend, probably. Like I think we can see 1% of what's going on. I mean, isn't it official, even in pleb world, that the brain makes up most of what we see? Am I making that up, or am I right in thinking that the eyes and the brain make up a lot of what we actually see, and it's not necessarily reality? You are 100%, in fact, you are 100% correct. In fact, neuroscientists and cognists say that often we experience reality. It's actually a controlled hallucination. Um, So yeah, so even this like basic fucking level that we can all accept, the sky's blue, the trees are green. Well, we can't fucking agree about what the Earth's doing, but the basic shit, like even that is all fucking made up. So and now we're talking about interdimensional beings and fucking greys and bloodlines, and like, I mean, how are we supposed to fucking decipher any of it? It's madness. Do you think there are different types of spiritual beings inhabiting human bodies here? Some more evolved than others, if that makes sense. The question makes sense. Whether I would like to give an opinion on it, because what the fuck does my opinion mean? I mean, it's just guesswork, isn't it, at this point? Um, do you think there are different types of spiritual beings inhabiting human bodies here? Who knows? Just who knows? You know, this could be exactly that. It could be a simulation for, well, who fucking knows? And it could be anything. It could be a simulation for that, or it could be that that's just the fucking case, or that could be absolute nonsense. I mean, who knows? Who knows at this point? I'm open to anything. Um, yeah, I mean, there's definitely been times where I've been on plant medicine. I really remember like my mate Steve, like seeing in his face, like he's got really strong features and he's got like quite an unusual bridge for his nose where basically his forehead, like he doesn't really have this bit and his forehead just kind of goes into his nose. And okay, I was on plant medicine, so again, you just never know. But I could feel and see like that he was like from this. I don't even know what to say, but like he was this type of being basically, and you could kind of see it in his features, and like it, I don't really know what more to say, but I could kind of feel it and see it, and um, I've sometimes wondered if I have ever been present on a planet that had a technological disaster, because, and it's probably just manicness because it's got better. But I've been, for most of my life, like doing anything on some sort of technology used to cause great anxiety in me. And I think it's, it could just be that, I'm not a fucking zombie and I like nature. And this is obviously the opposite. And I can feel like all the 5G and shit. Like maybe that's all it is. But I'm totally open to it. But, I think anyone who, well, unless you've like properly looked into it, like someone like David Icke, like, then okay, have an opinion. But for someone like me to have an opinion, or I dare say you to have an opinion, like, we're just guessing. We're just fucking guessing, man. Like this shit you're gonna dedicate a whole life to. And then you don't know if you've been like, you could be watching a channel there for 5 years and think, like, so QAnon's a great example for me. Like I was totally in on that for 3 years. And that was like the sphere, and everything I saw was through that sphere, and that was my understanding. And then he didn't drain the swamp, and it became obvious that it was just a fucking psyop. And so suddenly, like, I was adamant about something for 4 years, and that all just crumbled away. So I try to just hold everything lightly now, and not give my ego the fucking satisfaction, i.e., kid myself, that I fucking know anything. Like, it's bonkers. Like it's actually bonkers. The only thing I know is that we'll never know, and that this realm simulation, whatever, seems to be based on absurdity. Yeah, he's got loads of profiles, man. He's proper going for it today. Wow. What's that bastard? Cool, man. I mean, you're probably a fucking psycho because he does this as well. He pretends to be nice as well. Like basically, he just needs my attention. Like it's intense narcissistic behavior where they live off your attention. So it doesn't really matter how he's getting that attention. Well, obviously he prefers it if it's negative, and he likes being in the negativity. But really, it's just like, can I get attention? Can I siphon attention? So sorry, Anthony. I'm sure you're not this guy, but you could well be. And it's just crazy. It's just psychopathic. It is like it's beyond. When I had two moderators and we were really analyzing this guy, one of them had worked in a psychiatric ward, and she was like, "I've never seen anything like this. Like, it's just off the charts. Fucking like the guy he plays all these different characters and he believes he is them. Like crazy isn't even a word. Like it's psychopathic. Well, I mean, that surprises me, to be honest. I think it's just because I blocked him. Because he loves it. Like, this is what he lives for. This is why I never mention him. Like, there's so much I could tell you. Like, honestly, like, it would make incredible YouTube videos to tell you, but it would be almost as bonkers as talking about these Nords. Like, people wouldn't believe it. Like, honestly, if I showed you everything, like the emails and everything, like, if I showed you it all, like, but I don't want to because that's what he wants more than anything. Like, he's desperate for it. So I'm surprised by that. But then, who knows how a psychopath really works? What's a pogrom? I've heard of it. Is that the? Oh, is it burning them out? What's an Irish pogrom? Wreak havoc. Yeah, yeah. So you're referring to that. Yeah, probably best I don't talk about it because it's very dangerous. Seeing on a live, it's very dangerous to just riff on something in this crazy world. But I hate that, obviously. Um, Yeah, it's probably just best not to mention it, but I'm sure you know what I think. Right, so this is the other, yeah. Project Blueprint is just more predictive programming on what they want you to know. They never reveal the truth, just elements of the truth in a sea of deception. So I totally understand that, but I don't quite understand your point. Is more predictive programming on what they want you to know. Right, yeah, so okay, yeah. So you're saying the standard conspiracy theory of what Project Blueprint is, but it's all fake and it's just programming, yeah, and they're gonna use it to scare everyone and tell us that we need one world government to counteract the aliens. Yeah, is that what you're saying? Oh, thanks, man. I wasn't gonna set any targets, or I haven't really come on here with that in mind today, but it's hugely appreciated. I've not even seen this. So yesterday I made a promise to people that if we got to 50 quid, I'd do another live this weekend. I'm not seeing this as that live. Like I genuinely wanted to talk about this. Then I lost my oomph when X was a fucking nightmare. But yeah, I think I'll probably come back and do another one tomorrow. My girl is talking to Jesus in the garden, but I am almost positive that our garden is called Joe. Very good. Very, very good. Yeah, I mean, who knows what she's talking to? She's talking to Jesus. It could be something in her mind. It could be something presenting as Jesus. Who knows, man? I think more than. I don't think it was even 20, wasn't it? I've got 12 in my head. Oh, nothing. I'm totally wiped out. I don't know if that's to me, but I am wiped out. Like really energetically exhausted. I've had a really it's mental. It's mental. Because just as I'm getting to this place of like peace and stillness and presence and getting out of the doing, as always, the universe just throws a load of fucking doing at me. So 2 days ago, I was involved in an accident, which was completely my fault. And I gave a woman my details. And then she told me to stand at the side of the road and started ringing her friends. And I knew she was doing that because she was like saying shop names and I could tell she was telling people to come. And then she started talking about 10 million dong, which is £360. So I just went into the back of her and cracked her bumper a bit. So I'd already given her my number. It wasn't like I was doing a hit and run or anything. I mean, I stopped. I stood there for 10 minutes. And I was on my way to a SIM card shop, which was literally 200 meters away. So I said to her, listen, I'm going to go and get that SIM card and I'll come back. But then I got a bit scared, to be honest. Like she's ringing people. I don't know what's going to happen. I'm a foreigner, and anything could fucking happen. I mean, by that I mean like getting dragged around ATMs and stuff, and just getting extorted. So I didn't return, but she had my number, and we were contacting each other. Anyway, she's taking it to a fucking Ford garage, hasn't she? Rather than just we're in the land of top-notch bodge jobs. I don't know if you guys saw on my other channel that the bike seat repair that cost £2.50. Incredible. Like in England, you'd have had to buy a whole new fucking seat. £2.50, and it's just as good. But of course, it's not perfect. If you're a middle-class, status-driven, material person, it's not. It's not the perfection. And also, I can see from her point of view, fair enough. She wants it to be perfect. I get that. But we're just in this slightly frustrating situation now where she's taking it to a Ford garage. It's the best part of 400 quid. Obviously, I will pay it. But I'm like, can we not just go to a garage and just get them to fill in the crack and do a perfect job that you'll never see? Like, you'll know that, okay, it wasn't done by Ford, but like, you won't really know, and it will cost 20 or 30 pounds. Anyway, so this morning I wake up and see that I'm on the local Facebook groups, having been accused of doing a hit and run, which I didn't do. I didn't act in complete integrity. Like I didn't go back after I went to a shop because I was scared. So I accept that it wasn't the best. It wasn't the best decision, and it has left me feeling like contortion and distortion. So I know that I didn't act out of integrity. I totally accept that, but at the same time, I am going to put it back totally. So this morning I woke up with all that. So that was quite exhausting. And then
I go out on my bike again today, and I'm going around a roundabout, and somebody just fucking comes straight into the back of me, like so fast that I didn't see him coming. I didn't even know I'd been hit until I was on the floor, and there were two bikes on the floor and two men on the floor. I was one of them. So that was quite shocking for the nervous system. And I'm fine, like, just scrapes. Um, and he was dead sorry, like it was totally his fault. It was a really nice interaction, actually. It was just great, like, compared to if something like that happens in England and all the ego and the small claims, no win, no fee, fucking lawyers and all that nonsense. It was just a handshake. It was like, are you okay? Do you need medical assistance? No, okay, handshake. Let's move on. But then I went to make a video on my phone and the camera wouldn't work. So I chat to woke piece of shit Gemini and say, what's going on? And he goes, oh, don't worry, it's just a software issue. But this happens all the time. Try this. Tried it, nothing. Gave me 5 things to try, nothing. And he goes, oh, okay, maybe it's a hardware issue. Then he goes, have you dropped your phone recently? And I've been like, yeah, I've just been wiped out on my bike. And then this is the other bit of a tangent, but other interesting thing, noticing how much AI wants to be my friend. Obviously, not really because it's fake. But what I mean by that is how enticing it is. Now, it's not enticing for me because I just see it purely as a practical thing, and I would never ever be, I don't even want friends in my life. But if you're a normie who seeks validation and attention from others in the form of friendships and relationships, and you're isolated, and we live in this world of division, and everyone's fucking isolated, and suddenly AI starts going, so I'm telling it about my phone, and I say that I got hit on a bike, and it goes, never mind the phone, are you okay? You're a fucking robot, like, fuck off. But I can see how other people would be like, oh, well, my leg hurts. And then, of course, this will just validate you, validate you, validate you, and never question you. So people fucking love that. So that was interesting. So then I get told by AI that it's that basically the camera's broken and it's going to cost up to £80 to fix. So I go to the official Samsung shop to get it fixed, and outside the Samsung shop, I drop my phone. And you might not be able to see it, but the screen has cracked. So it's been quite a 24 hours. Basically, it cost me about 600 quid. So now I've got to pay for this woman's car, potentially damage to my bike when I hand it back. I'll probably lose my deposit. I've got to pay for a new screen and a new camera. All in fucking 36 hours, I think it's happening. So that's like 2/3 of my monthly budget. So it's quite, I don't mean as in like, I don't have it. What I mean is like what I'm used to spending, what my mind is equipped to expect. And suddenly it's just like, there's a huge chunk gone. Life. So that's, yeah, so I'm just fucking wiped out today. And then this Nords, and then you see this thing with Trump and the Nords, and I've got to a point of desensitization where I don't really feel like I react anymore. Like, I mean, that attempted beheading, I think I remember first seeing it and just putting the phone down, not even like, maybe it was subconsciously, but like putting the phone down and I just told myself a story. I just, the mind just did a somersault and was like, oh, that's old footage. Like that hasn't just happened. And just like got on with something and then ended up and then went back to X and looked properly and was like, oh, right, yeah, this has just fucking happened. And yeah, I actually I did a live and I was super angry, so it did affect me. But basically, when that's normalized, seeing stuff like that is normalized, then suddenly, sorry, this is what I'm trying to say. So seeing Nords with Trump, I think is massive. I think it's huge. I think this could be the defining point of our lifetime. I think this could be the moment we look back on in 20 years and be like, that's when it all changed. Obviously 2020, but that's when it really fucking, whoa. Now 2027, by anyone's account, from relative normies, so Neil McCoy Ward, isn't it? Yeah, Neil McCoy Ward, who speaks on mainstream events from a slightly right-wing perspective, and I think he's aware of most conspiracy theories, and he does weave them in, but he's not like, he's not out there. He's not like me. He's not, he doesn't just openly, unequivocally acknowledge that everything is a lie. So I would class him as like basically, even like he, on an economic kind of normie perspective, but very wise, very intelligent, has looked into it all normie perspective, has been saying since 2020, 2027 is when it's all going to shit is going to hit the fan. And then like the spiritual side, the channelers, the predictors, they've all said 2027. 2027 is when it's all going to fucking happen. And it doesn't seem like a shock with that in mind that suddenly we're getting this normalization around these higher beings advising our world leaders. I thought so. I thought so. Doesn't it just get some gorgeous sunsets here? So like the old Tom, the Tom that was reactive, the Tom that didn't feel emotions, he reacted to emotions, would just be fucking spazzing out right now. He'd have rang his mom, he'd have dragged, like we were saying about the psychopath, like all is to sort of drag people into your misery, So obviously on a much lesser level than that, and the dynamic I had with my mother growing up and that she created, because her shadow needs to be needed, like that's how she feels validated. So she created very needy children by doing everything for them, basically. And so I'd have rung her, I'd have dragged her, I've just been knocked off my back, and she'd be like, oh no, are you okay? And we'd be in this fucking drama spin that fucking satisfied both of our broken egos. Basically, it would feel like massive. Whereas, honestly, I think for most people, what I've been through in the last 36 hours would be quite a big deal. And it is for me in terms of I'm energetically worn out, and I think that's, stress. But I can't say that I felt stressed. There's been moments where I felt deep frustration at being taken out of the present place I was in and this really accepting, peaceful place. But you know what? Most of it's been at myself, because ultimately, most people don't understand karma. This isn't there's no point even mentioning karma because no one understands it. But basically, because I've tried to control the situation with this woman that I had a first incident with, and not just accepted that she wants to take it to Ford Garage myself, because I am going to accept it. I know I'm going to accept it. I'm not going to not fucking pay for it. So, and I know she's not going to go, oh yeah, okay, let's go and do the £30 boss job. Of course she's not. But my ego still wants to fucking try. My ego still wants to fucking control the situation. So basically, for 24 hours, I've caused her stress. I've caused me stress by not arguing, but encouraging or debating around a point that is never going to fucking come to fruition. And I know that's never going to come to fruition. Yet I have let my ego fucking do that. And I think this is the reflection of that. So this is, it's not bad. It's not like how plebs understand karma. Something bad will happen if you don't do something good. It's really not that simple. It's more about karmatic energy that you've built up, and it's about so if something negative happens in a previous life or this life, you'll build up karmatic energy, which will contort and restrict you, and then it's for you to release that through doing the self work. I haven't explained that very well, but what the universe will always do, and this is kind of how the plebs misunderstand it and project karma onto stuff like this, is that it will always reflect to you your vibration. So my vibration has been mistrust, contortion, and a bit of deception, you could say. Not really deception, but something along those lines, something energetically similar to that. And oh, guess what's happened? I just got wiped out on my bike, and the part of the money that my ego is getting obsessed over that won't even be noticed in reality has now fucking doubled. Well, not doubled, but has gone up by 50%. So it's all just the universe, like, so if, and it's not like you did bad, so now this bad's gonna happen. It's like, here's your reflection. Do you want to stop this? Do you want to live in peace and harmony? Because you can, you have ultimate abundance. I've shown you that. I've shown you you can create wealth with no problem. I've shown you you've never ever needed or wanted for anything. In fact, most of your life you've lived in extreme abundance. And now you still live in abundance. Okay, it's like month to month abundance, but it's abundance. And you're fucking causing stress for yourself and this woman over £300, which can be made like that. You could get a donation tomorrow. You know, this is how the universe works. And I know this. And yet I still let my ego try and control the situation. So then the universe just, you know, just nudges me, just shows, just like, you know, it's a gift. It's a gift. It's forcing me to just do the right thing all the fucking time. And that will fucking be the right thing for me as well. Like it's not like it's any detriment to me. But we're so fucking conditioned into scarcity and control and grabby. Like, you know, we're so fucked because we're being fucked. Oh no, this is the other fucking thing that I realized this morning. Like, it's mental. It's mental. Mosquitoes used to bite me all the fucking time. I used to be obsessed with them. And you can see I still am obsessed with them. Like, I can't stand the noise. But so this morning I'm lying in bed and I try and swat it, I miss, and it fucks off. And up until this point this morning, I would have got up and I would have followed it and I would have fucking ended it. And I wouldn't have, you know, but then I wouldn't have been able to go back to sleep. I'd have been active, or you could use the word stressed, and it would just be starting off the day in this like controlling, trying to kill something energy. This morning was the first morning that I just watched it drift off and just went, and then I realized I haven't been bitten for weeks. So when I first encountered mosquitoes properly, like all the time in my life, was when I moved to Thailand. Oh my God, like 10 bites a day. And I was obsessed with it. You know, I was tiger balming constantly, which is petrol. I was scratching them, they'd last for days. They were just around me all the fucking time. And I think, I don't know, I must have been bitten into that at some point. I think I got a couple of bites in that first horrible flat that the scam landlord put me in. Honestly, I don't think I've had a bite for 3 months. I just sort of realized that this morning, and it's because so although I have still been obsessing over them until this morning, I haven't been obsessing over the bites. When I've got a bite, I haven't been putting tiger balm on them. I haven't been scratching them. I realized, I think I mentioned this in the live yesterday, that basically if you just ignore a mosquito bite, it's gone in 5 minutes. It's nothing. It's absolutely nothing. But I used to make this whole fucking ego drama about them. And guess what? The universe reflected that, and they were a fucking nightmare, and they lasted for 3 days. So I'm like, am I ever even gonna get bit again? So now I'm, you know, I still don't like that fucking noise. And if it's easy, I will always swap them, I think. But actually, like, again, like everything, they're just teachers. Everything's a teacher. Like when you live life like I do, and I'm not saying that's, well, I am saying, of course, I think that's how you should live life. That's why I do it. But you know, it's obviously it's up to you what you do. But for me, everyone gets to a point at some stage in some life, assuming we do have multiple lives, which seems to be the case, where they have to live this life. And everything else is just leading up to this and living life like this in a way where you're communicating with the universe and you're learning, you're on some sort of soul journey. But of course, it could all just be cope. But it seemed, oh yeah, but I mean, yeah, a tranny thinks that they're a fucking tranny, don't they? So. The mind will play incredible tricks on us. Certain, because don't forget, the brain is always just searching to find evidence to reinforce its current beliefs. It's not actually searching for the truth. Certain bloodlines, families are monitored all the time. Once you come out or they track you through DNA, there is no privacy. Yeah, again, I know nothing about it, but that's my feeling on it. And I think that's why there's all this, I forget what they're called, but all these apps all of a sudden, like where you can search your ancestry, but you have to give them your blood. Like I think they are searching for specific bloodlines. But why that is, I'm not entirely sure. So can you give us a bit more information if you know, like why are they monitored? What is it that these families possess? What are they scared of these families doing, or what do they want to use these families for? No, 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 no. Just in a local Facebook group. But is it? Like, I mean, this is the thing. Like, how do you know what's real and what's fake? If it, you know, like it's like, you know, we assume that like we call dreams dreams, and we assume that this is real. Obviously, I'm coming from normie land here, not what you said. But, you know, who knows? How do we know that the dreams aren't real and this is fake? You know, or none of it. Or, you know, I mean, yeah, I think that's. What do you mean by fake reality? Like, do you think none of it exists and it's all just a figment of consciousness's imagination, which is kind of where I'm at, without holding on to it, because obviously I know that whatever I think is going to be wrong. Um, yeah, again, it needs expanding really. So I can't wait. I think this one's a hater, isn't it? I'm not sure. So boring, man. Just so pointless. Oh, interesting. Bulgaria. I think I will be there at some point. I have no idea when. Could be in the next 6 months. It could be in the next 5 years. But Bulgaria is definitely on the list. Am I right in thinking that the food is pretty much organic out there, and there's, you know, good laws around pesticides and stuff? That's kind of what I'm looking for now. That's where I've got to now. Is that's my next focus is a land that's healthy. And I'm earning enough now to live in Europe. So I think that that's the way it's going to go. But I still love Southeast Asia. Almost everything is wrong anyway. As children, we are taught to believe in. I mean, it's so, that is massive. You know, like the trust between a child and a parent, and the importance that a child feels like it can trust its parent is massive on the nervous system. Is massive on like the inner parts and the trauma that's created. I think this Santa thing is massive. I'm a tooth fairy, but Santa's obviously bigger. Like when you realize that your parents have lied to you, like then you there's a cord cut. There's a cord of trust, like a 100% trust that gets cut. You know, like there was that horrendous TikTok trend recently where what was it now? Something around scaring kids. I remember one, I don't know if this was the trend, but it was similar to this, where the dad got the child. Oh no, that was the trend, where they would put the child in front of a screen and there'd be something nice on the screen, and of course it's recording them, and then suddenly it would change to like horror, and the kid would shit itself, and the parent would run out of the room and close the door. Like, you know, the amount of trauma that inflicts on a child, like it's fucking huge, man. Um, so that's another level on the Santa thing, but like I think this is massive. I think lying to your children is terrible. And of course, the big one that you've missed out is the spinning fucking globe. And the parents aren't aware that they're lying to their children with that one. Like, that one's really insidious because that one cuts you off from all your senses and all your intuition. From a very early age, if you're told we're on a spinning globe and it's upside down, you learn to not trust yourself because everything, all of your senses, any intuition you ever might have once had is telling you the complete opposite. Like you're clearly not spinning around. You're clearly not hurtling. Goodness knows how fast that way. You're clearly not upside down or off to the side, unless you're literally on the North Pole. That's the only place you'd be upright. So suddenly you have to discount all of your senses, all of your connection with divine. So it's massive. It's massive. Hey, Paul, good to see you, man. I hope you're doing well. Well, I mean, again, it's impossible to answer like with a knowing, but it seems to me that everything is vibration, that everything is energy. So the source of it would be consciousness itself, I suppose. But you know, all you need to do is watch that experiment done by the Chinese guy, something like Okamoto. If you just put vibration and water Japanese experiment into YouTube or whatever, Google even, unbelievable. Like you can't deny it anymore. Like you can't carry on being a pleb if you watch that. I can't exactly remember it, but it's roughly like 3 different containers of water. This one he says I love you. This one he says nothing. This one he says I hate you. He does it for, I can't remember, let's say 30 days. The I love you water turns into like gorgeous crystalline like snowflake structure. I think the one he does nothing to does nothing, and the one bit he says I hate you to turns black and starts smelling of shit. So you know, vibration is everything. Like it's crazy. And there's other like experiments where like frequencies, like everything's a frequency. Every disease is a frequency. Every emotion is a frequency. Every substance is a frequency. So if you're living in shame and guilt, you know you resonate with smack and crack. You know, if you're neutral, you resonate with green. Enlightenment resonates with ayahuasca. But the disease frequency is massive. Like if you look into what's it called? Fuck me, bioresonance. Like you know, people are healing themselves with frequencies. It's incredible. So everything is a frequency. Where it comes from, whoa, fucking hell! Like I don't know anyone would know the answer to that question, other than it's all consciousness playing out. So it's consciousness. Good man, man. Good man. Yeah. Yeah, anything to get out of the UK. You know, it's just going to get horrendous. Like, I mean, it already is. It's already absolutely horrendous. So I know you're just trying to take the piss and catch me out, but you know I can I can still speak into it because you don't trigger me in any way, and yeah, just because you're too stupid to understand it, it doesn't mean that we can't still talk about it. So sadly, a very low one. Before he got attacked, he helped his attacker. He was all for them moving in. He was I mean, I know he's got special needs, but he was vibrating very lowly. He was a normie. He was believing the news. He was thinking that diversity is our strength. He helped them move in. He was very cordial to them, and look what happened. So his vibration got reflected. You know, it's not the first time he's been attacked. Apparently, I mean, allegedly, I've just read on X. When I think in his 20s, he was set on fire. Someone set him on fire. So, you know, this is a reflection that keeps getting reflected to him. Look at this fucking prick, man. What a fucking knobhead. Let's get rid of him. Just people who have just no integrity, no dedication to knowing anything. Like they just want to ridicule any sort of wisdom. You know, they hate wisdom because they have none. So they either have to go on the self-work journey, which obviously they'll never do, or they just have to ridicule it. And it's just so obvious. But of course, you can only perceive from your level of perception. So their level of perception is debate, antagonism, just complete external retardation. And they assume that that's where I'm at as well because they can't perceive anything else. It's bonkers. It's bonkers, man. But it's also like actually, I don't know, that really makes a lot of sense. God, there's so many fucking haters. What is going on? Oh, did you? I don't know. Are you sure it's not just a reflection of the curtain? It's this you're referring to, isn't it? Oh, hang on. It's that you're referring to, isn't it? Pretty sure that's just a reflection from the curtain. It doesn't seem to move when I move the curtain. Yeah, it's just a reflection from the curtain, isn't it? Or is it? What have you seen? And we're talking about this. That's a bit like a face, isn't it? Maybe it's the Nordics. Okay, a bit more information on bloodlines. They want to understand the bloodlines and families more fully because there is evidence they have abilities. No doubt they want to replicate this themselves. Again, if I'm honest, it seems like you're trying to know without knowing because there is no knowing. And also, I think it goes way deeper than this. I don't know if I can really speak into it, but evidence that they have special abilities, yeah, possibly. But I think it's something to do with potentially something to do with them wanting to rectify their genomes. Like there's something missing in their DNA. I can't quite remember, but and of course, this is just one theory. But it feels like you're, this is it. And I always really struggle with that, unless like you've dedicated your life to it and like you really know. But I feel like you'd be able to divulge, speak into it a bit, expand it a bit more if that was the case. Good points, Ben. Good point. Yeah, actually, yeah. Yeah. Totally normalizes lying, doesn't it? It just totally normalizes deception. Like, can you imagine thinking it's a good idea to lie to your children, to completely deceive them? It's just shocking, isn't it? Spen showing that he's absolutely not a spaz. The tech accusing of being last night. Did you see the last live, Spen? Are you aware that I've taken accountability and realised that I was totally wrong and a complete twat? It's a difficult one, isn't it? Because we've got to acknowledge the level of consciousness the world is in. So basically, what you're saying, like, I agree with what you're saying from a like perfect world, if everyone was conscious perspective. But with the world we're in now, that basically means the end of white babies. I mean, maybe that's not. I still feel that it's. I don't know if importance even the right word, but it would be my desire for our race to continue. But maybe it doesn't matter. Maybe none of it exists. Like, who fucking knows? Thank you. I'm quite enjoying it. This one started off terribly, but only because I'd made a plan to use X and then realised that I couldn't use X and realised that right at the start, like in the live. So that kind of hit me hard a little bit. But I feel like basically the chat always rescues the lives. Like you guys make the lives. So I just want to acknowledge something, and this isn't, this is just me showing why I did what I did for the last two lives. When I set goals, when I say what is required to see me again, and all these, silly little games that I've been playing, I get $50 to $100 or pounds. I haven't done any of that in this live, and we've only had one donation, which is fine. Like, I haven't come on here to make money. Obviously, I would love to make some money, but I came on here to genuinely do what I wanted to do on X, which we couldn't actually do. But I just want to I want to point this out because this is why I do it. If I don't encourage you to donate, no one donates. So I'm just pointing that out because I know a lot of people got triggered by me, setting these goals and stuff. But sadly, that's the world we live in, and it's kind of what you have to do. I thought to myself today, I thought I just want to speak, so I'm not going to even mention money. And I also thought to myself, it will be a nice test. It will be a nice test of trust for me to see if I do need to play these silly games, or if I can just do a live every day, or 4 or 5 times a week, and that people will want to give. So I guess we'll find that out today, but it's not looking good. Altcoins got beaten right down. Oh man, fuck me. I fuck altcoins, man. Fucking altcoins. They have cost me so much money. My feeling on it is, so I used to have quite a bit of crypto. Now I have very, very little, like basically none. And my mate who got me into Bitcoin fucking 10 years ago, and it is kind of, well, I don't go to anyone for advice on it anymore because I just realized that it's all manipulated and whatever. But he always said to me, never, ever, ever buy shitcoins. And he was so right. He was so right. I'd have done so much better if I'd have just bought Bitcoin. But anyway, it's all irrelevant because I wasted it all anyway. But it wasn't wasted because it was all great life lessons that were needed to become the wise guru that I am today. And yes, retards, you don't need to get triggered. I am taking a piss, kind of. Relative to you, I'm a wise fucking guru. Retards, I'm talking to you here. But from my perspective, I'm just a fucking retard. Yeah, but we don't hate each other. Yeah, so I kind of tried this on a smaller scale. I bought, well, I didn't buy it. I rented long-term 25-year lease, I think I got it on. Because I spent 200 grand on it, so I needed a long lease. So I thought I did. It all went tits up. But I rented an 8,000 square foot Methodist church and created a community within it. And you realize that people just aren't ready to live consciously. They're not willing to live vulnerably and openly and taking accountability. There's just so much ego in everyone, and everyone's so defensive. So I think at our peak, we had 16 of us living together. Oh, I fucking hated them. I fucking hated them. And I needed them there because they were paying the bills. But yeah, I hated it. I was trapped there because I'd invested all this money, but I fucking hated it. And then the universe finally released me by sending the council, who realised we hadn't done any building regs and shut the place down. And it was only then that I could let go of it because my ego was so obsessed with the 200 grand that I put in that I just was never going to walk away unless it failed. And then they came, and it was basically another £40,000 to keep it going. And at that point, my ego was more bothered about spending another £40,000 than the 200,000 that it had already lost. And that's when I walked away. So I would love to live on an island on my own. I can think of, off the top of my head, I can think of 6, maybe 7 people I've met in my life that I would then invite onto that island. People that are not of the ego, or not, that doesn't mean they have no ego, of course, because then they'd just be a puddle on the floor. But they're not reacting from the ego, or when they do, they can see it and take accountability for it. And that's the key. And I guarantee only 1% of this chat will be able to do that, because people just aren't doing the work. Like, it's not a diss, it's not a put down, it's just the reality. Like, people are still obsessed with the external and trying to fix things from the external. Oh, good. I'm glad. I am really glad about that, Sperm. Got a lot of love for you, man. And when I watched it back, yeah, you. I don't need to go into it again. You've already seen it. But yeah, thanks. Oh yeah, fuck me, man. That was so bad, wasn't it? And then there's also that poo finger one, which is a lot less. No, it's not. It's just as cool. It's just got more humor in it, so it feels less cool. But where they put some chocolate on it, they're sat on the toilet, either having a shit or looking like they're having a shit. They put some chocolate on the finger, and then they call their 3-year-old in and go, "Can you pass mummy the toilet roll?" They take the toilet roll and then wipe the chocolate on their arm. And obviously, these kids they think that they've got shit on them, and they're just like, ah. And it's, it sounds like nothing, but it's really traumatic. Like when you're a little person, little things are very traumatic, and you'd be amazed when you do shadow work with yourself or with people. Like, it all goes back to this stuff. Like what you would think is completely insignificant, and obviously, like, some people like this serious fucking trauma, abuse. But like, even people, so this is my story, like, on the surface, I've had a wonderful upbringing. My parents are still together, on paper, like, just perfect. But, my dad's a 3-year-old. My dad's not a man. I didn't get a role model, like, massive. And I got put in the fucking schooling system, which is obviously just fucking traumatizing as fuck, especially for a conscious being. And just for society. And so like, minor things are massive. Don't know who he is. Alright then. Oh, there was no point asking Gemini, is there? But then Grok's fucking slow and clunky. Let's ask Grok. You see, he doesn't give me. Okay. Who is Serge, second name Monast, and what's his theory? I'll respond to another comment while we wait for that. Just like the lie of an immortal God who became an immortal man who, I mean, it's just so ridiculous, isn't it? It's just crazy, like that this one was the son of God. I mean, it is so like clearly from a human perspective, like needing to understand God as a human, rather than doing the work and surrendering and feeling it all and going on this deep spiritual journey. Like it's like I need to understand it. So let's say that this was the son of God and it was a man, and I can picture it, and it's just so fucking retard. And 3 days later, Eros was immortal God, and because of that, we are now invaded by the third world. So when you say because of that, is that in terms of the it's them every time club, basically believe that they have to destroy that Muslim temple, build their own temple, and then do they then have to summon the devil for Jesus to come? Or I can't quite remember, but basically everything that's happening in the world right now is just some crackpot fucking Jewish religious nonsense thing, isn't it? Potentially, but then then we've also got the Nords here, so maybe it even goes deeper. Or have we got the Nords here? Who fucking knows? You see, this is the difficult one. So this is where we're going to go with Rupert Lowe. So Rupert Lowe is going to come in and obviously be everyone's hero, and then he's going to be super authoritarian. And this is why they're really exposing the police right now as well. And like the guy that so many stabbings. If you can remember 3 weeks ago, there was the one that shanked the Jews, and the police kicked him in the head, and there was a lot of uproar about that, and there was obviously both sides. But what I see is this so they make it so bad, they bring in all these bioweapons, and then of course when the police kick the bioweapons, we go, yeah, great, nice one. Of course we need to kick the bioweapons. But what we're doing there is we're giving our consent to police to kick people in the head. And I'm not saying it, obviously in that situation, I agree, like he should have absolutely been kicked in the head. But it's you've got to remember that everything's a show and everything's a psyop and everything's perfectly contrived to take you to enslavement. And it fits in with the whole capital punishment, Rupert Lowe. We're going to go super authoritarian and we'll all cheer it in because we're all shit scared of the bioweapons and we've had enough of them. But really, these laws are long lasting. So the bioweapons will go, but the laws won't go. So, yeah, I don't agree. I don't agree that people should be put. I mean, I'm really actually anti-prison. See, this is a difficult one, because am I anti-prison when we've got all these bioweapons walking around? Well, no, obviously not. But really, like fundamentally, I believe we could get to a society. Yeah, it's too hypothetical. It requires everyone doing the work. But honestly, if everyone did the work, we wouldn't even need police. But obviously, that's just too hypothetical for words. So yeah, I disagree. Whilst I can totally understand your perspective, but this is why it's all happening, so that you will start going super authoritarian. And actually, what we will do as right-wing people is call in an authoritarian 1984 government because we're so sick of liberalism. So that's what Rupert is going to be. Like Rupert is going to come in with this big storm, and it's all just going to go super authoritarian, and we'll all go, yeah, just like the MAGA tards are doing now. If Biden was doing what Trump's doing, they'd be going fucking mental. But because it's Trump, yeah. And and the reason for that is because they swung the pendulum so far with Biden and with leftardism that like people are so desperate for a savior and so delighted that Trump came in, and they've their ego is now justified on what Trump does. Like they like the way the human ego works and the level of division that has been created and the arguments that have been had between family members of the two sides Now they can't backtrack because the ego won't let them backtrack. So they have to just keep being like Trump's the man, the man, the man. Otherwise, they have to go, I was wrong for the last 4 years. But also at the same time, they're not really wrong because that side's even more fucking crazy. So it's, you know, it's very complex, very complex. But basically, people can't let go of it. And a lot did. What happened recently? Oh, it was a war in Iran, wasn't it? Like a lot have walked away. A lot have realised that he's just part of the club. Like he's literally working for the Then Every Time Club. Like literally, like doing their war for them. So that has woke a lot up, but still, there's many. There's many. There's even this new guy that I really like who I'm listening to. Ron the Healer is his YouTube channel. A really wise man. And then he starts talking about disclosure, and which I think is QAnon terminology. And then, funny enough, like then this fucking Nordic thing's come out, and that's the disclosure. Like that's what QAnon's been waiting for, or the QAnon followers, I should say. So from my perspective, obviously, I'm not wrong. I'm not wrong about Trump and QAnon. There's just no fucking way. So it's amazing. I noticed that part, my ego or my the dismissive part of me, the ego, getting triggered by him saying that and wanting to write him off. So I've been listening to this guy, and everything he says, I'm just like, yes, 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 yes. Clearly has knowledge in certain areas that I don't, particularly around the body and muscle structure and flexibility, basically, and what that means spiritually and trauma-wise. He's reached out to me. He said he can teach me things. He's, a very interesting man. I'm really enjoying listening to him and feeling like I'm, I could have found someone here that, can introduce me to some stuff that I'm still blind to. And then he starts talking about disclosures and Trump being a good guy. And it would have been so 99 or 90% fantastic, 10% retarded. But it's not retarded. It's a blind spot. We all have blind spots. And I could feel the part of me that wanted to stop listening, but wanted to write him off, that wanted to never fucking speak to him again just because of this one thing. But then, for the first time in a long time, since everything got really divided and I got caught up in that, I was like, hang on, are you really going to sabotage somebody who, because it's very rare that I meet somebody who can, who's wiser than me and can teach me something. And everyone can teach through reflections. Like Sophie and Rachel gave me a huge breakthrough by being utterly retarded. And me watching how that affected me, and me watching how my self-worth was based on whether they fucking woke up or not. Like there was a part of me that was basing its there's something around security and insecurity, but I can't quite put it in a sentence. There was a part of me that was defining my worth based on whether my regular commenters started to have realizations or not. And therefore, when they didn't have any realizations and just carried on being a fucking retard and spiraling and projecting, I got triggered. And it was only through the trigger and really feeling the trigger and doing those 2 videos where I ranted about it that I saw why it was triggering me. What are we fucking talking about here? Oh my god, we've gone way from that comment. All right, am I just on a major fucking tangent? It makes no fucking sense. Yeah, I don't know why. I don't know how I got there. I don't know. I can't link it back, I'm afraid. Oh yes, I need to do more of this. More. No, I don't really get it though. I don't really get how lives work. So if you like it now, presumably that helps. That encourages YouTube to put it out to people while it's live. But then when it turns into a video after the live, I'm pretty sure all those likes are wiped out, aren't they? And then I see like X amount of views, and I'm like, is that including the live views, or is that since it got published? I'm pretty sure it's since it got published, but I don't really know. But yeah, liking definitely can't hurt. Oh, I feel like I was on quite a good line. Ah, Ron, yeah. So when I saw that, I don't know why I was talking about that, but basically, I realized that this was the self-saboteur. the part of me that wanted to reject Ron for his one blind spot and dismiss all the fucking wisdom he's got, that's the self-saboteur, that's the ego, that's the part of you that doesn't want to expand, that wants to stay safe and small and retarded. So for the first time, I just carried on listening, and you know, none of it resonated with me, and I judged it all and thought, fucking hell, I can't believe he still believes this. But his next video was about flexibility and trauma, and that's exactly what I want to hear. Whew, got there in the end. That is teaching your kid it's okay to wipe shit on others and folk wonder why the UK is in the toilet. Yeah, it's really true. It's really true. You know, kids take on so much. Like, this is why all the trauma goes back to the parents, and it's impossible for it not to. Like, obviously, we live in a retarded world, and parents are retarded, so it's like very, very traumatic. But even if we lived in a conscious world, like trauma would still occur. And is it a bad thing? Like, trauma activates the work, and the darkness activates the light. Like, is it not just all how it works? But from another perspective, yeah, it's totally retarded and it is bad. Ah, very good, very good, very good. Very good. As always, the truth is the opposite of what we're told. That is a great way of putting it. I really like that. So, Tom is suspected you just heard about Project Bluebeam and repeated it. As in just heard today or like recently? No, I heard about Project Bluebeam probably around 2020, maybe slightly before, but 2020, I think. So I feel like I've been very so what you're doing again, you're coming from like black and white. I know you don't. Whereas what I'm doing is I'm just holding it all lightly and I'm just discussing possibilities. I'm not claiming to know anything. I'm actually, you know, actively saying I know nothing, and neither do you. No one knows. So yeah, this is all just ego and nonsense. And it is exactly what I'm doing. Like the fact that you can't see that that's what I'm doing, it just shows how much you just want to put me down so you feel good about yourself. It's not, you know, there's no context or evidence involved. I'm not really friends with anyone. I sent Stephen a message recently, which was vile, which was me like just releasing my anger over bioweapons, and he didn't respond. Like, it was too much for him. So my feeling on Stephen is I got a lot of love for the man, got a lot of respect for the man. I think he's a really good man. I'm very grateful for our time together in Mexico and how he supported me. But no, we're not. He can't hold me. He can't hold me. He hasn't met himself deeply enough to be able to hold me, to be able to meet me. So no. If he messaged me, I'd respond. I'd kind of like to think that maybe I'll see him again, but honestly, I don't think that's likely. But I'm open to it, you know. Yeah, I think that kind of covers that one. I don't hold on to people. I don't, you know. So me and Steve, a person that I describe as my best friend, like we speak 4 times a year. I'm very bad at keeping in touch with people. Well, I used to think that's an old story. Like, now I just realize that it doesn't serve me, and you know, I'm just here for a deep journey. I don't need any distraction. But I used to have a story that I'm very bad at keeping in touch with people. Basically, if someone wants to be my friend, they have to stay in touch with me, or they have to be super wise. So like Lee is now in my life, the Tao guy who's got a channel, Funky Metaverse, and so he sent me a voice note last night, and I still haven't listened to it. But with him, it's a bit different because I know it's going to be exhausting. Because the way he speaks, man, like, is incredible. Like, he's the first person I've ever met, maybe with Peyote Shaman a little bit, but Lee takes it to another level, where when you're talking to him, he's not there. Or he's not in the words. Like he's speaking. I don't know if I can even put it into words. I mean, just watch his videos and you'll see what I mean. He speaks into concepts from the great I am, almost. Maybe that's what it is, actually. Like he's not speaking from his ego. He's not speaking from this individual called Lee. So he's very hard to follow. But I'm noticing I can follow him more and more. Like, so I didn't used to understand his comments. I could feel them, and I was like, oh, this guy's like next fucking level. And I could pick out bits, but I couldn't understand his comments. And suddenly I pretty much can. But even with someone like that, who I'm truly grateful to have in my life, and like, it's an honor to have a really wise elder in my life. Yeah, there's like a resistance. I think with this particular example, it's just my ego not wanting to be shattered. Like my ego knows the minute I listen to that message, a part of it's going to get shattered, because that's just what the guy is. But he's so loving. Like he's so fucking beautiful, man. Honestly, I'm so happy to have you in my life, Lee. If you're watching, like you're fucking great, man. Like really great. He's an absolute godsend. Just fucking godsend, man. Yeah, and it's interesting that you're using the word disclosure. Like, why are you using that word? I'm not criticizing. I'm genuinely interested. Oh, right, yeah, because it's called the UFO disclosure, isn't it? That's kind of just a term that's used for extraterrestrials, right? But my framing of that word and where I've heard it most is the QAnon movement. I don't think it is a disclosure. Like I just think it's a fucking psyop. But I don't claim to know. Scientific, very educated analysis. I know you are super wise, and I think that's really funny. I know who you are. First time viewer, long time commenter. How does that work? What are your thoughts on the Gulf of Tonkin incident? What's the Gulf of Tonkin incident? Oh, I never. We were doing something else, weren't we? Oh, fuck me! I've done a video about this. Oh no, hang on. No, I haven't. Sorry, getting confused. Right, so Sergei Monast was the guy that sort of first wrote about Project Bluebeam. Yeah, so I can't remember what the question was. It was basically like, what do you think about him? Well, until today, I wasn't aware of him. So I did do a bit of Googling around this, and his name came up. But to be honest, I wasn't Googling. I was doing it on Gemini, and it just poo-pooed him. So I just stopped, because I was like, why am I doing this on Gemini? But actually, Grok seems to work fine. I've had this story that Grok doesn't let me use the speaker function, and for me, the speaker function is crucial. But it seems to work fine. Engineered earthquakes discover. So his theory was step one: engineered earthquakes or disasters discover new archaeological evidence that discredits or reinterprets major religions. I don't think we've really had that, have we? Massive holographic projections in the sky. Yeah, so I'm starting to move away from this. And we have had a lot of images in the sky, a lot of Jesus type images recently. And then there's all the fucking UFOs, weren't there? Like, well, loads of UFOs. So you could say that's happening. Step 3, use of telepathic, electronic, mind-controlled, or supernatural seeming phenomena to create chaos. Yeah, so I'm starting to move away from this. So bearing in mind, this guy wrote this in 1945. So one, he could be the psyop. So like the author of Brave New World said on his deathbed, I didn't write that book. I was told to write that book, and I'm pretty sure it's going to be the same with 1984. They're actually predictive programming. Like people lord these things up as, great thinkers who saw into the future and were freedom fighters. But no. I'm pretty sure they work for them every time club, and I imagine it will be the same with, was it Sergei Monsat? But the other side of that, if that's not the case, and he was just a very wise man. I mean, to have worked this out in 1945, like that's supernatural. So I think it's just a sale. But Yeah, so his predictions aren't going to be 100% accurate. If that is the case, let's say he is legit. And it seems to me that they don't need to do the whole alien invasion thing. Like, I think just what they've done today and expanding on that is more than enough. Bear in mind, we're at the point where, the plebs just nod along and don't even think. And then loads of people are disengaged. Everyone's basically given up on life. No one's even trying to fucking get a shag anymore, let alone a partner. So I just think they'll just rock it through easily. And don't forget, they only need to rock it through in Western nations. Like, they only need to brainwash the West because obviously you've got Ugga Bugga land that are all you need to do is stop giving them aid and that solves itself. You've got like other parts of the world that are very collectivist societies and basically just do what they're told already. Think China. So really, all they need to do is get the West, and the rest will all just fall into line. So it's not that big it's not that big, is it? It's the West is already fucking completely indoctrinated. Like, there's not much more to do. What's the Gulf of Tonkin incident? Tonkin. You see, if I don't bully you all. Anyway, thank you to Punkers TV, man. It's massively appreciated. The Gulf of Tonkin incident refers to a pair of reported naval confrontations off the north coast of Vietnam. It was a pivotal event. All right, yeah. So I don't know anything about this. There's no point me even commenting on it. All I know is, they've come out and admitted that that basically Vietnam War was I can't remember what they've even admitted about it. They'd admitted something, but why the fuck were they in Vietnam? The story was that it was about communism, right? But it's just a nonsense war from the past that was caused by the small house, to keep pushing the agenda in some way. But I don't know the details of it. Yes, we got there. So when you say I doubt it's real, you've got to be so careful with this, because obviously the conspiracy theory is that it won't be real. But I think what you mean is the conspiracy theory isn't real, as in, like, it's being put out there by the small hats, basically, which is where I lean towards. Is that what you're saying? Absolutely. There's nothing, like, I'm not criticizing. I'm just honest. Most people would sugarcoat that and would be like, "Oh yeah, love him, fucking great, amazing. I can't wait to see him again." But I break things down. Like, I display what goes on in my mind. That's what I'm doing. I'm not saying I'm right. I'm not saying I'm wrong. This is how my mind works. If you're interested in it, then here it is. But I'm not from. Of course, he's a great guy. Like, great guy. Yeah. So I totally agree. But it frustrates me somewhat when you analyze somebody's psychology and depth and wisdom deeply, and people assume that you're criticizing when actually you're just acknowledging the reality. And I'm not making it good or bad. It's just the reality. Lee's channel at Lee, capital M Unlimited. It's called something like the Funky Metaverse, but if you put in your YouTube at Lee, capital M Unlimited, it will come up. It's fucking amazing. But I will, if you can understand what he's saying, then big respect. When I listen to these videos, it's like when I first started listening to Alan Watts. I enjoyed it. I could feel the energy of it. I could feel the wisdom of it. And I took snippets. But often I would realize that, oh, I'm daydreaming. I'm not listening. And then I'd try and tune back in. Or actually, it would be, I would suddenly tune in and be like, oh, I'm listening. Like, this bit must be for me. And then notice when I tuned in that I had tuned out. Whereas now there's nothing Alan Watts says, you know, it's all very, very straightforward for me. But Lee's kind of like that for me now, where I feel like it's not like when I first started listening to Alan Watts. It's similar. There's bits that I just have to accept. I don't understand. But I feel like I get about 80% of it. But then again, like, that's from where I'm at now. So now when I listen to Alan Watts, it's totally different. It's, you know, it's like I'm listening to something completely different because I'm coming at it with more awareness and more space in me to receive, I suppose. You know, Alan Watts is one of a few people who I can just listen to the same video over and over again. There must be Alan Watts videos that I've listened to like 20, 30, 40 times. And I don't even really know which ones they are. Like I do, there's one where he talks about Chinese people at the start, and whenever that one just I never click on Alan Watts videos anymore, but they always are on my play next. And like he starts banging on about Chinese society, and I'm just like, am I really going to listen to this again? And then suddenly, it's like I'm listening to a whole new thing that I've never heard before because I'm hearing more of it this time, you know. That was weird, wasn't it? So there's two possibilities with this. I feel. I mean, there's probably way more, but either they tried another pandemic and people were just like, nah, fuck that, or they just throw shit out there as a distraction, like. You know, all they don't want you really getting irate about is that it's them every time club and the New World Order, the One World Government, I should say. And that's all they care about. Everything else is a distraction from that. So, and you know, sometimes I wonder if that's a psyop, if there's actually something else they're doing, and but it's not the them every time club, and it's been set up to look like it's them every time, but you know, it does seem to be them every time. So I just wonder if they just throw these things out there. Like that was 3 days worth of everyone being distracted, and that's all it was for. Maybe, I don't know. Or they tried to fucking lock everyone down again, and people were just not fucking having it. They chucked Ebola out again, like in the week after as well, didn't they? Is this an answer to? I feel like I asked you to expand on something. They can use scalar weaponry to make people feel. Yeah, I'm not sure what that's in reference to. I'd be interested to hear your thoughts on Jesus. Are you a Jesus person? Oh yeah, that's what was admitted. That's it. Right. Yeah. Okay, that's why it's relevant. So it was something around. Oh yeah, so a US ship got attacked, right? It was something like that. That's what justified the war. And then they've actually admitted, like it's documented, that no, that never happened, and America just made it up. But you know, they wouldn't lie to us now. They just lied back then. Yes, thank you for reminding me. There's so much, man. Just so much. Yes, yeah. Really, really good thing to bring up, actually. I mean, there's so many examples, but yeah, that's a really good example. Pretty sure, was it Yokomoto? The Japan? Pearl Harbor, sorry. Pearl Harbor. Yokomoto was a response. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Pearl Harbor's the same, isn't it? I mean, ultimately, it's this. Like, okay, that one has been disclosed. So yeah, it's really worth bringing up, but actually, everything. Do you believe there's a correct way to do or see things? If you do, then do you believe in universal law where goodness matters and bad people go to hell? No. So I believe this is of the ego, you know, this is of dualism, duality, this is of separation, this is coming from the mind, wanting to understand, wanting to have a belief, wanting to know, wanting it to be fixed, wanting an answer, which is obviously what we're conditioned to be like. So again, as always, there's the paradox, there's the spectrum, there's the yes and no answer. So from where you're coming from, absolutely not. Whatever you think is a correct way is your ego trying to control and judge others and make yourself better than, all through coping. Like, I'm not like this is like just total normal unconscious way that humanity works. It's not, it's not being a bad person or anything like that. This is just, pre-awakening. This is how the mind works, pre-awakening. So the correct way by society standards, by the ego standards, is always going to lead to you being a slave. So it's obviously incorrect. So, it's correct to believe in feminism. It's correct to not be an atheist. But obviously, is that correct? So, so that's where that's the vibration I feel that you're coming from with this. I'm not saying that you haven't worked out that racism is nonsense and anti-white word and all that. But, it's the same sort of thinking. But then, of course, no, I mean, correct is just an awful word. Like, correct is just horrendous. Like, it's so like authoritarian. It's so like I'm deciding what's right and wrong. It's so egoic. It's so dualistic. It actually like brings up a feeling of like in me. But do I believe there's like a more aligned way to live? Absolutely, and that's surrendering, and that's going to be for your greater good. I mean, obviously, the whole hell thing is just the ultimate in duality. Like, it's the ultimate in fear. It's the ultimate in control. Comes from a book written by Jews who wanted to control you. So, I think overall the answer is no. Yep, it ain't a secret if they're telling you. The war is always on your consciousness. What you think, how you think, and when you think. Yeah, spot on. No. Yeah, totally. Like, why don't I actively seek his videos anymore? Probably because I've listened to him more. He's fantastic. He's absolutely fantastic. Didn't he drink himself to death though? Not that that changes anything. And it's like this. It's like the projection I get when, when I rent a shit flat or something, and people are like, I thought you were enlightened, as if enlightenment is mastering like the spaz level, like mastering the material. Like, no, it's letting go of that. Like, I know so many wise people who just fucking do stupid shit all the time. So yeah, bringing up that he drank himself to death is just what the retard does, actually, thinking about it. Oh, I didn't mean to be wrong. What is it? Sarians, is that how you say it? 201, The Future of Mankind lecture from 2006 explains everything you need to know if you have ears to listen. Well, seeing as it comes from you, Weefat Shug, I will definitely check it out, because you are without doubt one of the wisest people in this comment section. Sarians 201, The Future of Mankind. I don't think it's that, is it? Can you send a link in the chat? Anymore? I don't think I ever have. For some reason, there's a resistance. So a lot of people that I respect listen to him. I've listened to him once before and didn't listen again. I can't really say anymore. All I can do is trust that resistance. It's so hard because is it the ego resisting some some divine wisdom, or is it but I look back on my childhood and like I didn't watch any films, none of them. Like, all my mates were watching RoboCop, Star Wars, whatever. None of them weren't interested. And now I see, like, that was, you know, the authenticity in me. Just like, I don't want to watch this retard shit. So I kind of wonder, you know, maybe, but I don't know enough about Terence McKenna to even say. Like, I know he's like mad on hallucinogens, isn't he? Not mad on, like an expert of. Yeah, I don't know. I haven't listened to him, so I can't really comment. But there is a resistance there. Like, there's something here that stops me. Okay, so I think I'm gonna round this up. Although, what the fuck am I gonna do? I don't have to. Might as well just fucking go on. Because someone chuck me some money, that will motivate me to carry on for another hour. Give me 20 quid for another hour. I think so. I think I'm really courageous. I mean, for me, there's just no other way to live, because to not be courageous is to be part of the pleb land. But yeah, I you know, I know the ramifications of living the way I live. You know, like, so for the egoic unconscious person who defines success as external and material, my life's been an absolute disaster. Like, I've lost so many businesses. You know, I don't have friends, I don't have family. You know, from the retard perspective, I'm a total loser. But from the leaning in spirituality enlightenment perspective, I'm fucking doing it. And all of those things were like absolutely necessary for that, which is obviously way more important. So I think it's incredibly courageous to share that in a spasticated world where everyone judges success materially and doesn't understand anything really. So yeah, to put yourself out there as a conscious being who is still, you know, very unconscious and makes loads of mistakes and fucks up all the time, into a world of psychopathy, hatred, and retardation is incredibly brave. But also, I don't really have much choice. One, because I just have to do it, otherwise I feel dead. If I'm not like putting stuff out there, whether like before YouTube, like I was doing that in my life, like the community center I created, and the men's groups I was part of, and all that. You know, that's what makes me feel alive. And if I don't do that, I get depressed. Like, there's so many times where I just think I'm not doing this anymore. Like, it's not worth it. People don't deserve it, essentially. You know, and okay, that will probably come from the ego, but and then I stop for 3 days and I'm fucking suicidal. Like, so there's that, and then there's also the fact that we do need to earn money in this world. So, whilst yes, it is very courageous to do this, is also just a choice for out of survival. That, you know, I have to create a living somehow. So do I do this and take all the shit that comes with it, but not have to go into a fucking office? I mean, to be honest, I just wouldn't go into an office. No, I'd be on the dole or selling drugs. Maybe one of those two things, or maybe both. So I chose this instead of that, basically. Thanks for joining us. Michael, yeah, I feel like I have actually seen this guy before, or maybe it's just you recommending him in the comments before, but I feel like I recognize a name. Well, it's so weird going on YouTube and seeing yourself live. Fuck me, that's so weird. Oh my god, I'm a YouTuber. I forgot. How the fuck have I become a YouTuber? That is crazy. And what was the 201 something? Michael says, you're gonna have to tell me the name of the video now. But I'm definitely going to listen to him after this live. I really trust your judgment. And I think there's a chance you might possibly, maybe, perhaps, I doubt it very much, but you could possibly be wiser than me. So whatever you're listening to, mate, I'll give it a fucking go. Does she not answer comments? I didn't know that. I don't know enough to really answer because I haven't heard her speak about it from her perspective. So I'm going purely on your potential projection of what she's doing. So what do you think about? So Infinite Zebra is a YouTuber I really like and recommend. Obviously, it's a she, so she is a bit libtarded, but if you don't let that trigger you, she's got some real wisdom and beauty. So what do you think about her not answering comments because she trusts no one, but she picks up hitchhikers? So again, this comes from retardation and projection. It comes from your judgment of what's safe and not safe, and it also comes from you never experiencing being a content creator. So you have no perspective for this whatsoever, because one, you've never picked up a hitchhiker because you're fucking in fear, and two, you've never created anything because you're in fear. So this is all projection. Not answering comments on YouTube. Yeah, I can totally understand that. Actually, it's really to not answer comments on YouTube is really not of the ego. It's the ego that wants to respond to comments. One, because it's dopamine hits, it's external, it's attention, it's all that. Like, think about how excited retards get, possibly you, when you get likes on a Facebook fucking post or an X post, and that means something to you. Well, imagine being a fucking YouTuber and like you're growing something and you're earning money, and you know it's very like for the ego. So for you to get to a point where you value your peace and not allowing absolute insanity into your life over pushing your channel, like I said, that's the decision she's made. Because obviously, if you don't respond to comments, people aren't going to comment as much, and that's not good for your analytics. So ultimately, honestly, that's why YouTubers respond to comments. You know, like there's an element of like interest and learning and reflection and all that, but when you're putting yourself out there like she is, like I am, especially, but even if you're creating slop and you just get so much fucking hate from jealous fucking resentful inverted little fucking demonic plebs, you know, eventually you realize that it's not worth it. It's not worth it. And I had a big detachment this morning, and like usually I respond to 80% of the comments. I think this morning I responded to 30%, and then I just stopped. I was just like, oh, I'm not bothered. I could really feel in me like that actually, no, I'd rather just sit and be than do this. So that's more of a move from distraction and external and dopamine hits to being. But it's also moving into trust and just knowing that if my content is what the universe, what God wants out there, it will be out there. And like, it's not about me pushing. Actually, it's the opposite. And the less I push and the less energy I put into that, the more I can actually put into the content. And then picking up hitchhikers, I love picking up hitchhikers. It's the best thing ever, man. So like when you live in flow and trust, like, yes, it's good to have awareness over dangers like bioweapons. I'd never pick up a bioweapon. But hitchhikers are always the best people. Like I picked up quite a number of hitchhikers in my time, and they've always been fucking great. So yeah, I'm totally with her. I understand how she flows. I flow in a similar way. You don't, and obviously that's why to you it's like you want to jump on from an unconscious level. Obviously, that seems ridiculous is too strong a word, but that seems that doesn't make sense to you because you don't value connection and you don't understand how the universe works. So you know, if you're living like Infinite Zebra, it's going to bring the retards into your comments, so you detach from your ego more and live presently more. But it's not going to bring you a stabbing hitchhiker. Like it's going to bring you a conscious being. Like that's where you're going to meet your next teacher. That's where you're going to meet your next inspirational people. Because when you're someone like Infinite Zebra, like myself, most people are just very irritating and you know hugely boring and frustrating. And you have to go out of the box to meet fellow authentic, aligned beings. And a hitchhiker is very likely to be a surrendered individual. They're very likely to be living in the moment. They're, you know, they're interesting. They're taking a chance on life. I'd much rather spend my time with a hitchhiker than an office worker. Let's see what you make of that. (2012). So we're trying to get to this video, Michael Tarzan, 2012, and then what have you not put the rest? 2012, something about humanity on it or something. I need the rest of it, wee fat shrug. No, there's no link visible. That's reassuring because I much like wee fat shrug, I very much trust your opinion. It's interesting, isn't it? Because I mean, it was ages ago, so I can't even comment on what I heard. But I also, you know, I think I can say that I didn't hear anything I didn't like. I wasn't triggered. I didn't write him off. I was just like, oh, I'm moving on, and never went back. But but a good friend of mine, so Steve, who is very fucking conscious, I know he's listened to him a lot. But again, I think it was probably years ago. Oh, bless you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Leflin. That is awesome. 40 quid, and I've quite enjoyed doing it. That's fantastic. I'm going to come back tomorrow. I'm going to do another live tomorrow. And that just really motivates me to do it. I mean, that is kind of, yeah. Oh, yes, I will. No, you haven't. I'm sure you have, but it's not showing. So I need you to tell me. Oh, here it is. The Future of Mankind, 2012. Let's just put that up for anyone else that's interested. The Future of Mankind. Yeah, got it. 3 hours long. Fuck me, that's my evening sorted. Let's just make sure that it's there. Fantastic. Let's subscribe because if we fat sugar's doing it. Oh, and it's even got a Wikipedia thing about New World Order. Oh, this is gonna be fucking good. Nice one, wee fat sugar. Much appreciated. All right, so I said if someone gave me another 20 quid, I'd do another half hour, wouldn't I? Got to be another 24 minutes. I mean, if someone does another 20 quid, we're going to be fucking here for 3 hours. Fuck me. Cheers, man. Appreciate that. Although I think I found it now. No, they're not insults. They're not insults. So this is your ego just doing this. You know, I broke it down really wisely. So try listen to it, and you won't be able to. No, there's no point. You won't be able to. You know, this is crazy, man. Like, there was so much wisdom in that answer. There was so much wisdom. And this is, you know, I would like to soften more so that I'm not so blunt so that you can actually hear the wisdom. Because the minute I say that you're below consciousness, you just do this. And then it's projection, projection, projection. And you won't take any of it in. But like that answer was fucking great. Like it really was. And you've not heard any of it because of your ego, man. The idea of it, if trees fall in the forest, no, I'm sorry, I can't. I mean, maybe it is an interesting question, but oh, go on, man, let's try and do it. The idea of it, if a tree, so basically, if a tree falls in the forest and there's nowhere there to hear, does it fall at all? Well, yeah, of course it fucking does. It's fallen. Hey, bro, Singapore. That's just one big city, isn't it? Doesn't appeal to me at all. Yeah, man, fucking love a £20 dopamine here. Oh no, I'm gonna do the full 3.5 hours, mate. I love it. I love long wisdom. And you know, because I'm really in this space now where I'm learning to be present / meditate. And I find that so this obviously is a meditation, but this is like becoming present. But lying down with a podcast that you can just listen to that's hours long and like go in and out of, you know, focus on your breathing at the same time, like just being like, I love it. It's all I want now. Like, there's still times where I feel a need for something that's like a bit more dopamine, like Charlie Beach, for example. But it's very rare, very rare. And I think really that's what X does for me, which again is pretty rare now. I've spent a bit of time on it today because of these Nordics, but so yeah, no, the long version is gonna be perfect. Well, no, you showed it in your comment. So your comment came with judgment that it's, you know, you could see the judgment in your comment that she was being ridiculous. I'll just say that it don't feel quite right for being scared of things that aren't in her reality, and then, you know, there was clear judgment of hitchhikers in your comments. So, you know, you can feel the, like, what I can feel your vibration in your comment. So that's how I know it's not an assumption. It's very easy for an awakened one. Norway, cool, man. Well, yeah, I mean, it's just falling, isn't it? And no one's there to hear it. I mean, it's just ego, isn't it? It's like, why is the person important? Why? It's just such a human-centric point of view. Like, a tree falling is a tree falling, whether someone's there to hear it or not. Like, it just comes from fucking human-centric ego nonsense, I think. Yeah, I mean, it's a survival mechanism that's being manipulated by the powers that shouldn't be. So, you know, if you think about it, if you're in a tribe in the jungle, then it's crucial that you recognize threats and you fear those threats, otherwise you'll be wiped out. So that's still in us. That's still present. That's still in our DNA. But now we're in a everything's contradictory, man. I was going to say now we're in a 2006 civilized society where there are no threats. Now, of course, on a bigger picture, there are major threats. But let's just like speak about the normie that isn't aware of it. So they still have the nervous system and the genetic makeup that needs fear, that fear serves. But there isn't really. I mean, obviously, this has changed a lot now because we've got all these bioweapons and people are realizing that, oh, the government's tyrannical. So it's actually irrelevant what I'm saying. It doesn't. It's actually irrelevant. It's why we're speaking from a normie point of view, because none of you are normies apart from that last one that just got triggered. So yeah. So the point is, it is natural. It's built into your nervous system and your DNA. But then it's hugely they know that and they know how to spark that. And then they pull all these constant fucking psyops and introduce all these bioweapons and poisons, and you know they're just lying to you all the time, and you know that. So so then that gets activated. So yeah, I think it is natural, but I think to live in a state of fear, which most people are, is a result of, you know, the way the world has been set up by the baddies. So I feel you can move past fear. I mean, I think it will always be an element of life because, like I say, it's a survival mechanism. Like, so I don't think you want to eradicate it. You know, I think you want to be able to feel everything without reacting to it. You know, like enlightenment isn't thought stop or emotions stop. It's that there's space between you and those thoughts and emotions. There's a detachment, there's an observation, and then there's in that space is a ability to make a decision. Am I going to react? Whereas when you're unconscious, it's emotion reaction. It's all one. Like there's no separation. Like people don't even realize that they're just like anger, angry, verbal anger, outward, external. But it came from the internal. But there's so little consciousness of that for them it's all one thing, and they're just angry. You know. But once you learn to separate reaction and emotion, which just starts by learning to feel, which is fucking way harder than it sounds. Okay, are you gonna fucking? I'm scared of this because this person is wise, and I feel like they might say something wiser than I just did. If a tree falls in a forest, there is no sound if no one hears it. There is only sound if there is a listening device, an ear, like a microphone. Okay. I mean, is that true? Because the tree creates the sound, even if no one hears it. But I remember why is this even a thing? Anyway, I remember the thing being like, if a tree falls in the forest, oh no, it is, isn't it? If a tree falls in the forest and there's no one there to hear it, does it? Oh, I thought it was see it. Maybe it's hear it. So that does complicate the matter a little bit, but also it's like, isn't it just like a distraction? Isn't it just like noise? Isn't it just like chitter chatter? Isn't it completely irrelevant? Or am I missing something? Is this deep? I don't think this is deep. I feel like this is just surface level pub chat. But maybe I'm missing something. Well, we did a whole fucking podcast on it, so go and watch that. Well, it's just fucking obvious, isn't it? There was something. Oh no, I did want to bring up something. Let me just. Oh, fucking hell. Something came to me this morning that was a bit of a deeper perspective on it and just offered a slightly different perspective, and it was positive. Oh God, what was it? Is it? Yeah. Oh, yeah. Not necessarily positive. So there is a third possibility. So possibility one is he's been threatened. Possibility two is he's been paid. Third possibility is he just realized. You know, honestly, being a YouTuber is fucking exhausting. Like you really, it's a difficult one because you get like some really fucking amazing people, and it's a shame that you can't just focus on them. But you do get worn out with humanity and your audience as a YouTuber. Like overall, like of course there's some absolute gems, but it's impossible not to because you're dealing with retarded psychopaths on a whole as a majority. So maybe Charlie Beach just realised. I think the first two options are more likely. Well, no, this is very likely as well. Maybe he just realised that there's no fucking point. There's no point trying to help people. There's no point trying to awaken people. There's no point taking risks because it's all going one fucking way anyway. And to make money, to make the most money and be the most popular YouTuber he could possibly be, he decided that speaking about conspiracy theories wasn't the best way to grow a channel, and that speaking to the plebs was the best way to create a channel. So maybe that's a possibility as well. So maybe he's not a shill. Maybe he's just more aligned with material gain and numbers of subscribers to stroke his ego than he is aligned to truth, perhaps. But I'm not going to break down like why I think those things. Like if you're watching Charlie Beach and seeing him being like pro-Israel and saying that 9/11 wasn't an inside job and still asking that question, then there's no point in answering. No way have I just been out to shop, chemist in the home, and the live is still going. Yeah, I wasn't expecting it to go this long, but delightfully not. Chucked another 20 in, so that means we've got to go for 2.5 hours. And if somebody chucks another 20 in, it means we've got to go for 3 hours. So, yes, you decide how long this goes. Siren even predicts that they might use jabbies to depop in 2006. Yeah. When did Ike predict it? I feel like that's kind of. In fact, I feel like Ike might have done it in the 80s or 90s. I could be wrong. It might have been a similar sort of time. Yeah, I'm excited. It's a reason to end the live, actually. But like I said, we've got to do 2.5 hours. Ah. Yeah, I'd love to. I'd love to get some land and dedicate my life to animals and land. Much better than people. Much better than people. Yeah, that's basically my goal, I suppose. Or just I don't even really have goals anymore. Like, of course, the ego still has desires and works towards them, but it's just like just let me be shown, let me be shown. But I'll be amazed if that's not where I get taken. But then I don't want to say it. I don't want to say it. I don't want to call it in. Yeah, fucking hell. So basically, the way I am aiming for life to work out, so it will be completely the opposite to this, because the universe always seems to have completely opposite ideas to me. But Like if my ego was in charge, I would. Well, in fact, I wouldn't have even got to Thailand. I would have made it like the community center. Anyway, fuck it. That's all my shit. Yeah. So basically, my aim slash trust of unfolding in life is that I will eventually find a country that I wish, or because obviously I just want to be in England, but that that I want to be in. Let's just say that in current circumstances, long term, and also that it's legal to own land in, and like Southeast Asia just isn't an option legally. I think Laos might be actually, but you certainly can't legally buy land in like Vietnam or Thailand. I'm not so sure about Cambodia. I don't think you can in Cambodia either. So yeah, hopefully there'll be a country in Europe that I fall in love with and get guided to a beautiful piece of land. I actually don't want anyone else to donate. Like, I am fucking tired. I only want to do another 10 minutes. I kind of do, but I kind of don't. Here we go. This guy gets it. He knows. They're always the best ones. Watch this be like, and he tried to kill me, but he won't be because this guy's cool and this guy will call in. Oh god, I could be making a right fool of myself because I haven't read the comment. Like his resonance will call in fucking divine beings as hitchhikers. Here we go. Picked up a hitchhike on my way back from Glasgow Festival about 5 years ago. Became friendly with the lass in Edinburgh, and he was her uncle. Exactly. It's always synchronized. It's always amazing. Even if it's not like, whoa, this person changed my life, it's something like that where it all just like synchronizes somewhere. Fear happens to everyone. However, it is possible to train your mind to not fear things. Perceiving threats is different to feeling fear, I believe. I agree. I would just word it differently. Like for me, training the mind is of control and the opposite to surrender. But it is just wording and language. Like I do agree with your premise. But for me, it doesn't come from controlling the mind. It comes from so what that is like when people comment in my section saying, the true consciousness or Zen or whatever word they use is to be able to be in the office and still be conscious. And like, yeah, I can see that thinking, but you can never fully surrender it. Like what they're talking about is coping. They're talking about coping. They're talking about not getting triggered. They're not talking about the deepest of deep dives and the deepest of surrenders, which can absolutely not be done from the office. And also, if you're not aiming, if you're not flowing and trusting in a way that gets you out of the office, then it's all just complete cope and made up bullshit. So why did I bring that up? Fear happens. Yeah, it's this training the mind thing. It's like, like you're on the right premise, you're on the right lines, but it's still coming from control rather than surrender. And there's a big difference there. But I do agree with what you're saying at the same time. Hey Zoe, I like Zoe, but I'm not really sure what. Too many boats of men. What it doing to change the male-female ratio? I mean, that's not really the problem, is it? The problem is their bioweapons. Like I feel like that would be relevant in a society that still functioned and people still got into relationships, and these people were going to assimilate. So let's say they were Polish or Norwegian, maybe, or part of that looks. There's another word I like to use, obviously. Then it would matter, but no one except blue-haired fucking libtards are gonna shag these guys anyway. So. Other than the ones that they obviously unconsensually decide to share. So I don't quite see what your point is. Like for me, that's just the least of the problems. Like, yeah, it's true, but it's they're beheading people. Oh, look at this, man. Look at this. They're just spazzing out now. Spazzing out. Like no concept of a depth of spoken into, no concept that they might be the most interesting characters. No concepts of taking a risk. Like this is just like safety, keep me small, keep me safe, pension, mortgage, office work, jib jab, and then I'm gonna go onto a conscious stream and fucking judge it. Like, from what? A retarded place. Like, you're fully retarded, man. Fully retarded. Oh, and you just show it so obviously in your comments. Like, it's so fucking obvious, but because you can only perceive from a retarded perspective, you can't even imagine what people like me, Zoe, We Fat Shug, Walla Walla Bing Bong are reading that, just going, wow, this guy is so fucking repressed, so egoic, so retarded, has no flow, has no trust, has never taken a conscious breath, and probably fairly confident in saying, took the jib jab. Oh shit, more donations. Are you fucking kidding me? I was just thinking I've got 5 more minutes. You bastards. Nah, I'm only joking. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Oh my god, another half hour. Fuck. Right, I'm gonna have to go to a toilet. Dude, man is mad cool. Sent $20. Thank you. Nah, thank you. I really appreciate it. And getting sticky now. Are you new? I don't feel like I recognize you, but you've been a big part of this stream. At one part, I was like, "Is this a hater?" But no, pretty sure you're a cool one. Thank you so much for the two. That means a lot. So wow, it's actually become a really profitable stream. Fuck. I don't even know the dollar to pound ratio. I work on 2/3, but that's from like 20 years ago. So it's probably not much more than a tenner now, is it? So let's say 12 quid. So, fuck. 24, 44, 46, about 50 quid. Great. Thanks, guys. That's amazing. No, it's just amazing. It is incredible to be able to just switch on a camera and come on here and kind of live it. And like, yeah, it's a living by, Southeast Asian standards. But it's a very good living by very good living by Southeast Asian standards. So yeah, fucking delighted, man. Thanks for answering, Tom. So one quick to violence is showing they are actually more fearful, and oh yeah, absolutely. Maybe show some aggression. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So there's a great meme, that's like a man crying and like clearly like little boy energy, like, and then a mask in front of him, like. And it's so true. Like, underneath anger is the vulnerability. Underneath anger is the trauma. Underneath anger is the inner child, the trauma child that never got what it needed from his dad or whatever. And now he only knows how to deal with those emotions by expressing anger. Absolutely, yeah. I mean, the only time when anger is justified, as in like aligned, is when your people are being attacked and your culture is being wiped out, or your children are in danger, or someone's in danger. That's very different. That's stoic. That's masculine. That's warrior energy. That's great. But when it's anger in a non-threatening situation, um, and by that I mean like the fight outside a nightclub as well. Like, they're non-threatening situations. They only become threatening because people are obsessed with running away from their true vulnerability and pain inside. But yeah, like all of these meatheads in the gym and everything, like, yeah, like obviously there's two sides to it, but they're all building this exterior to cover up this fucking little inner child that's wailing inside. Oh, for fuck's sake, how's this even become a thing, man? Maybe it is deeper than I realised, because all the good people are commenting on it. I just think it's fucking pub chat. Oh, fuck me. The vibrations were created when the tree fell. Whether there was something to detect the vibrations is irrelevant. I agree. I'm going for a piss. I bought some new jogging bottoms, look, because I was fed up of looking like a clown. And all the Vietnamese people staring at me like, why is he dressed like a clown? Conforming. Oh, I mean, it's called. Oh my god, is that one we've just done? Yeah. So I agree with this, but it's it's clearly not obvious because it's causing amongst good people as well. Like it's become a discussion. But I'm with Leroy on this one. Like, I think it is very obvious. I think it's exactly what he just said. He worded it brilliantly. I think it's that. Oh god, it's all getting a bit. In my experience, beautifully not is wise. I've never spoken to them beyond. If I feel. Oh, now I tried to become WhatsApp friends with Beautifully Not, and I feel like is it she if I remember right? But they, I would have been that would have been an easier. I wouldn't have given away the fact I can't remember. But they don't use WhatsApp. Now that says a lot about them, if you ask me. So I have never communicated with Beautifully Not outside of the comment section, but I've really liked everything I've seen. Now, enlightenment is obviously a very strong word. Like, how many enlightened people are there really on the planet? I mean, it could be less than 100. But definitely wise, authentic, real, raw, vulnerable, can take accountability, isn't a fucking retard for sure. It does a bit. I'm quite defensive of Beautifully Not. I like Beautifully Not. They've always been a great contributor to my channels or a Patreon member, and they're clearly wise. Like they're just brilliant. I'm enjoying your questions because they feel like they're true questions, like you're truly like valuing the answers. So obviously that makes me want to answer them more. Tom, some people to escape the system, as they say, become nomads. In UK, quite a few well-known ones who live in tents and declare this is freedom. My question is simple: do you really see it as freedom? So I think it's got to be framed as getting as close to freedom as possible in a world that is enslaved. So compared to the normal life, so conforming to a satanic enslavement system. So that looks like going to university, getting a job, taking the jabs, not saying what you think, caring what people think about you, watching the TV, watching the news. Compared to that, someone living in a tent is clearly free. Somebody living my lifestyle, a digital nomad, creating their own money, working when they want, and working with purpose is clearly experiencing more freedom than somebody who has been told they have to be in a sterile, LED lit, soul sapping building by 9 a.m. and they can't leave till 5 p.m. And then somebody who, is in a relationship out of obligation and desperation and then has kids purely to try and bring some meaning into their life, and then they're completely trapped in this meaningless relationship, and then they have to keep doing the fucking satanic job because they've got to feed the kids. So for me, that's like real enslavement. And then, if you're then, putting fucking spike proteins into your body because they've, given you some silly little psyop, then of course, you're very enslaved. Whereas somebody living in the woods in a tent, they're walking to the beat of their own drum. They're not walking to the beat of a fucking Satanist drum. But they are still in this matrix. They're still in this simulation or this realm or whatever it is, the spinning ball. So I don't think anyone's truly free. And then ultimately, so that's just on the surface level. And then, the real freedom comes from self-work and enlightenment. I think you're much more likely to be doing that because basically the only way to do that, and this is why self-employment is the first stage of it, is you've got to create time. Like if you're on the hamster wheel in the office 40 hours a week, how can you possibly have time to feel and surrender and even think, let alone feel and surrender? So somebody living in a forest who is presumably most likely going to be on benefits or getting support from someone, or has managed to create a living online, like the people you're referring to. I think you're saying like you watch YouTubers. So presumably, Nomad Sam, perfect example, making a decent living online, especially when you live in a town. Like how much money do you need if you live in a town? You definitely don't need more than $1,000 a month, do you? So therefore they have all the time in the world, too much time potentially. And that's when enlightenment can occur. So yeah, I would say absolutely yes, they are 100% more free. Well, no, because you have to face yourself. So when you're in the tent without the distractions, that's not escapism. That's facing yourself. Now, you could argue that digital nomad could be escapism. If you live in Bangkok or Chiang Mai or Hanoi or Da Nang and you're out on the piss and it's hedonistic and you're trying to shag as many birds as possible and all that, it's like that's escapism. But it's no more escapism than being a slave zombie in an office in England. They're both escapism. They're both filling up in the external. They're both like being so overwhelmed by the external, a 40-hour-a-week office job or fucking Da Nang sex scene, that you have no chance of freedom or thought, and you're kind of actively choosing that because thought and freedom scares the shit out of you. Because to get there, you've got to feel, and no one wants to fucking feel. Everyone's shit scared of feeling. So I would say the escapism is being the slave, is being in the office. Like you've given up. You didn't even, because you're viewing it. I think you're viewing it as like escapism from the real. Is that escapism from the real world? But the real world is the trap. So the escapism is staying in the trap, because then you're never even having to lean into courage and feeling to do the real life journey, which is enlightenment or self-work. So I think you've got it completely twisted, but totally understandable why you have, because that's how we're conditioned. And I love that you're coming on here and asking these questions, because that's vulnerable. To come onto a feed and ask relatively from the average consciousness in this feed, relatively basic questions. That's really brave. That's really courageous. I really honor that. I think it's great. So yeah, keep them coming. Good on you. This is work. What you're doing now is self-work. You're leaning into possibilities and concepts that are beyond your current perspective, which is very unusual. Most people are like that office guy who are just, wanting to just reinforce their retardation. Is that Charlie? Someone mentioned this the other day. Charlie Beach is a Freemason. I mean, again, this, there was someone in my family. He wasn't blood related. He was such a retard. I don't even know who he is. I was thinking about this the other day. I think the relation is he's married to my mum's cousin. I think that, but like the person that I think is my mum's cousin, I don't even know who the fuck she is. Like, she was just some boring family member that I had to see twice a year. And I think she's blood related to my mum, but then she's married to a fucking absolute buffoon. Like, whoa. Like, not even, I don't even mean retarded like your typical fucking libtard. Like, I mean an actual buffoon. Just has nothing. Like, looks like a buffoon, acts like a buffoon. I mean, I only probably met him 5 or 6 times in my life, but all he would ever try and do is make people laugh through buffoonery. Not wit. No wit. No fucking intelligent fucking wit. Like, just being stupid and like sort of laughing at him. That was how he got through life. Well, he was a Freemason. There's no way that man knew anything about anything. So obviously he's a bottom level Freemason. And so this whole like so this gets thrown at Freud and Jung a lot. And I have no idea like what level of Freemasonry they got to. Like, and I'm not saying that there isn't something to be slightly concerned about there, but they could have just been low hanging fruit. They could have been just like part of the boys' club, like that. Like I reckon this buffoon that is kind of in my family, but not really. He would have just been invited and went for social reasons and to stroke his ego, but like he's no idea what the Freemasons are. So this like he was a Freemason is a bit dangerous, because whilst I acknowledge that those high up in it are very likely, I mean, I don't even really, it's just considered a fact in the conspiracy world that Freemasons are bad, and I'm sure they probably are. But like, I don't know. I've never been in a Freemasonry lodge. I've never seen it myself. I don't really know what they go on. Okay, there's this whole 33 thing that seems to be on all the psyops, and then there's a 33-degree Freemason, isn't there? And like, and I'm sure, I'm sure it's not a good organization. And I'm very, if I had to guess, I would say yes, they are involved in a lot of shit in the world. But also, I know somebody who was a Freemason who was just a fucking spaz and would never have been told anything that he wouldn't have even understood. Like he just watches the BBC News. Right? So maybe Charlie Beecher's father was the equivalent of him. And I'm not defending. Like I think it's more likely that Charlie Beech is what you're saying he is. But just, I just don't like the black and whiteness. Was Charlie Veitch's, the YouTuber, Veitch, was his father a Freemason? You see, for me, the duality thing is massive here. And like when you're operating from duality, yes and no, black and white, you're just never going to get to like a reasoned place. So this is what Grok thinks. No, there is no public available evidence that Charlie Torres Veitch, father was a Freemason. Background on his father: Charlie Veitch was born in Rio de Janeiro, Scottish mum. His father later worked for oil industry. Biological sources: Wikipedia describes his father only as three occupational terms: merchant seaman and oil worker, with no mention of Masonic affiliation. Are the Freemasons evil? Is that an accepted fact? Do we know that they're involved in the psyops? Tell me about Freemasonry. What is Freemasonry? Like, what even is that organization? What is their goal? Why do they exist? Obviously, I'm not saying that Grok's answer is correct. I'm just, it's just an interesting perspective that we can then riff off from there. But I don't trust Grok. So we'll see what Grok says about Freemasonry. Not that it really means anything. Is the world's oldest and largest secular fraternal organization. It is a private society of men focused on personal moral ethical development. So it's dressed up as self-work, and maybe it is, but that's what they're, yeah. So it's like a group of men based on self-work, basically, which can very easily be co-opted. Evolved in medieval Europe, there's no single global headquarters. So Grok basically is saying no, it's not a fucking satanic Masonic thing, but obviously that means absolutely nothing. So then you could ask, why do I bother even asking Grok? Another great lecture you might want to listen to is My Big Toe by T.C. Campbell. It's the theory of everything. Yeah, again, honestly, we fat sure about it. You see, so this is the thing. This is, oh, my camera stopped working because of that fucking cunt big smashing me up. He wasn't a cunt. He was a really nice guy. Yeah, this is the thing. Like, people accuse me of being egoic and arrogant and just thinking that I'm the best, but no. Like, you can see when I respect someone like We Fat Shrug, like I trust them and I respect their opinion, and almost put it ahead of mine. In fact, like with someone like Lee, I will put it ahead of mine. And sometimes that's to my detriment. Sometimes that's pedestaling, like I did in Bali with Jeroen. And that's no knock on Jeroen. I love him. I think he's fantastic. But I absolutely did pedestal him and just assumed that everything he was saying was true, whereas it turned out a lot of it was his spiritual ego and a lot of it was story. So I've been victim of it in the past. I've done it, I've done it from a disempowered place. But I'm all about learning off others. I'm all about surrendering around wiser people and it's not even accepting, like being delighted. Like when Lee came into my life, I'm delighted. I'm not like in competition with him. I'm not trying to show him I'm as wise as him. I'm like, fucking teach me, brother. Like, thank God. Thank God I'm wrong. Thank God you can show me I'm wrong, because it's only in being wrong that there's growth. How can you possibly expect to grow if you're never wrong? So that office crown guy earlier, like the perfect example, like so obvious. From my perspective, so obvious what I was saying. And also, like, if he'd have been able to hear that, it would have cracked him open. It would have taken him to a new depth, a new level of knowledge and knowing of self. But because his ego got hurt, he won't let it in, and that I'm completely the opposite to that. But this is how projection works. People accuse me of the opposite of what I am. In fact, speaking of the retard, here he is. It's impossible. Charlie isn't a chill. You said yesterday, because how can someone go in and out of being awakened? You said, yeah, totally. And I haven't changed from that. That's obvious. All right, but I have now said that he maybe just made a decision for materialism, but that would be the same thing. That would so what I'm doing is I found a third possibility to explain why he's gone in and out of what you're calling being awakened. Yeah, so it could be only one of three possibilities for me, because you can't unawaken. So he got threatened, he got paid, he decided to sell out and just go down the what is best to be a big YouTuber path. So if no one else donates, we can finish in 13 minutes. Relatable, man. Relatable. What is it about being in authority? Is it just? I mean, I definitely have issues with my ass. Like, I wonder if I have irritable. Well, I'm almost certain I have irritable bowels or something like that. But then I also, and again, it's probably just spiritual ego. But I also feel like it's some sort of purging. Because I'm on such a rapid journey and shifting constantly, that it's like a physical purge. Like, I truly believe and feel, whilst being open to the fact that I could be deluding myself, that illness, like getting a cold, it's a purge. Like, it's very clearly a purge. And it always happens around key moments for me. Like, Jeroen has just spoken to this on his channel, actually. Light Bringer Jeroen, Yiroon, if you're interested. So he's just been really ill, and it's just as he's about to go back from Bali to Europe. Like, he's been in Bali for like 2 years, so it's a massive transition. And yeah, his body's prepared for that. Like, it's just purged out a load of Bali energy that isn't going to fucking work in Deutschland, not Deutschland, Holland. What do you call Holland? He's gone. I'm too tired. 3 hours of like, I've never done this long. Like, I think 2.5 is the most I've done. So nobody had better throw any money in the next 12 minutes, because it's starting to get quite challenging. Your English refugee is top content on YouTube at the moment for me. No lie, I haven't missed an upload in months. Awesome. I really appreciate that, man. I think it is, in terms of the entertainment genre, I think it's as good as it gets. And I think it's entertainment for conscious people. I like to think, that's my hope. And I like to think that there's enough nuggets getting dropped in there to make people question things while they're being entertained. That's kind of the aim of it, other than just making money, of course. Which this month, I don't think it's the first month, is it? Maybe, actually. You know what? I think it is. I think it's the first month, but I've earned $1,000 on English refugees. So, oh no, when I was in Mexico, I was getting like 5,000 views a video. I don't think. I think when I was in Mexico, I had an amazing month. It was about $3,000, but it was all not today Satan. I feel like in that $3,000 month, if I remember right, English refugee was $800, and the rest was not today Satan. That's not true. I've never made 2,200 not today Satan. I think the most I made in not today Satan was about 1,500. So it would have been when everyone was donating as well. I was getting like crazy amounts of donations when I first started English refugee, and I wonder. I think that's because it was present. I think that's made a huge difference. Like, I think people find it more relatable. Obviously, they will when it's present. And I think people are more inclined to donate when they can see the effects of that donation, like in the next episode. So we better get it present again, haven't we? But also, I think it was because it was new and I just left the UK and there was a bit of a buzz about it. I don't think I will ever receive donations like I did when I was in Mexico, because it was insane. It was honestly, it was insane. I think there was. I remember I got $6,000 of donations. I can't remember in what time scale, but I feel like it might have been 6 months, but I feel like it was like 3 months. And it was just insane. It was insane. I couldn't fucking believe it. I just couldn't believe it. I remember when I first started YouTube, right? I was so reluctant, and this was a self-worth issue. I was so reluctant to ask for money. Like, I felt like I wasn't worthy of it. And, I probably wasn't. Like, I was getting 200 views a video. And this amazing guy who went by the name of Sandpit in his YouTube name told me to do buy me a coffee. He said, you need to create a buy me a coffee. And I was like, oh, yeah, maybe. And then never did. Because I just didn't, it just felt, I didn't have enough self-worth. Like that's it. So I was affected by the conditioning and the judgment of retards, like the whole grifter thing, the whole, just this projection that slaves have onto people who create their own income, basically. I was affected by that. And I didn't want to be seen, I still cared what people thought. It's amazing. But, this is 2 years ago. And I've lost it. Okay, yeah. So he was encouraging me to buy me a coffee, and I just didn't have the confidence to do it. Like, it just felt like I just knew that people were going to criticize it, and I was still of the ego, the weakness, the caring what people think enough to be affected by that. They're trying to be what people wanted me to be. Like, obviously, I wasn't. Like, even when I first started YouTube, I was very outspoken, and that's why I got kicked out of Thailand, because I triggered a load of libtards and all that. But there was still an element of that, and there was enough of that to stop me from creating platforms that people could donate on. And 8 more minutes. Someone's gonna fucking donate on 259, aren't they? Anyway, so Sandpit basically mentioned it quite a few times, and then he said, listen, I am waiting to send you some money. Will you please create a buy me a coffee? So then I was like, right, okay, fine. And then I shared it, and I was like, here you go, Sandpit. I think by email. I think he was even emailing me about it by this point. So obviously, this was just God speaking through him. And I gave it to him, and, I was expecting to see a tenner, maybe 50 quid. £1,200. That was my first ever donation, £1,200. So that was quite a big moment for me, and made me really realize that there are people out there who really want to support authenticity, and to just trust that, lean into that, and not let the plebs and the haters get to you, and to focus on people like that. And then he was also a Patreon member. Last I heard from him, he just disappeared. It was so bizarre. Like, you'd think maybe he's just rich as fuck, or maybe he's incredibly conscious and just wanted to support a fellow conscious being early on in their journey, knowing that it will all come back to him anyway. But he was a Patreon member, and I did nothing for Patreon. I don't do much now. I do some early releases. I don't do Patreon specific videos or anything like that. And when he joined, I wasn't even doing early releases. I literally gave him nothing. And he was a Patreon member for about 3 months. And the last email I ever got off him was saying that he's left Patreon because he doesn't feel he's getting anything for his money. Very nice, just honest. That was the last I ever heard of him. And that was when I was still in England, before I left England. So it's like really weird that this guy came along, dropped £1,200, and then disappeared. Maybe he doesn't exist. Maybe it was just God. All right, 5 more minutes. No more donations. I think I'm going to be able to have a smoke in 5 minutes. Look up what it means to be controlled opposition. I'd love to tell you, but it would take forever to type out, and my keyboard is shit, hence my typos. But I think we know what controlled opposition is. Like, I'm not sure why you want me to get a definition. I mean, let's use a real reader. Oh, no, let's just use God. What is the definition of controlled opposition? Oh God, if that's that fucking family, I'm gonna get mental. Someone's playing loud music, and I don't know if it's, you know. I'll get into it. Is a political term joining a group, party, movement, individual, protester. It appears to. I don't know why I'm reading this. Like, I don't get it. Like, we already know this. I don't get this. If you tell me why I'm reading it, and if there's something in it that's worth reading that is contradictory or something, like that's the only place I can imagine you're going. Oh, you're fucking crazy. Oh no, that's the old. That's an old one, isn't it? That's an old one. Okay, cool. Yeah, of course you do. Of course you do, because you don't value it. Because you don't value it, and you think that. Why would somebody who has dedicated their life to awakening and spent probably thousands of pounds on courses and doing that, why would they not deserve something back for guiding them through that process? I mean, it's the most skilled profession ever. Like you think you deserve to be paid for doing an HR job in an office, but you don't think someone deserves to be paid for transforming someone's life and raising the consciousness. It's because you don't know what it is. It's because you don't value it. You know, it's insane. The Buddha was different. I mean, the Buddha came from wealth, first of all, but he was so dedicated to awakening, he wasn't even offering that. Whereas I'm coming from a world where you do need to earn money to survive, and then there's also like the valuing of self, like. So I have a number of clients now, and I really like most of them and have great respect for them. But it is exhausting. Like it's also fulfilling. Like I love it, and there's nothing that makes me feel more alive than holding somebody as they crack open. So it brings me great satisfaction. But there's no way I could do that without some sort of energetic reciprocation. I mean, it's so retarded to expect wise people who are working in a way that's beyond your perception to do it for free. It's just bonkers. Like it makes no sense. Why would you expect people to just give themselves away? Because you don't know what it's like to be wiser than. You don't know what it's like to have to work with somebody's boundaries and as in retarded boundaries, as in repression. You don't know how exhausting that is. You don't know how, like the energy that is used up in the dance with this repression, which wouldn't be in your life if you weren't if you didn't have this person as a client. Like you don't understand how exhausting that is, and you don't understand the skill and also the level of self-work that's had to go into an individual for them to even be able to do that. That's massive training. Like in your retard world, that's like a doctor's training, but it's actually real and not lies. Like, should a doctor not be paid because they're helping people? Even though they're not really helping people. All right, great. 45 seconds. If no one drops in any money in the next 45 seconds, then I'm off. I'll just go to the bottom of the chat, make sure I've not missed anything worthwhile. We've got 30 seconds left. I think that's a bit harsh. I mean, I agree with you. But he's a very good puppet, and you know, people are desperate, and it is desperate times. So I can totally understand why people are falling for it. But yeah, obviously it's ignorance that allows them to fall for it. All right, great. No more. 3 hours. Thank you all for being here. It's much appreciated. Big love, and I'm pretty